OneMic Show, straight up from Uganda, you see it? Remember that every day of the week, man.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Bobby Wine. Na karibuni tena ndani ya OneMic Show. I want to welcome you back. Na ni furaha kujiunga nanyi wapenzi wasikilizaji, tukiwa tumekuandalia taarifa za kusisimua, muziki wa kukata viungo na kindumbwe cha siasa au politics ukipenda. We are streaming live on Facebook from Kilimanjaro Studios outside Washington DC. We are also now live on YouTube, so call in all your YouTube friends who are not on Facebook. Please remember subscribe to both our YouTube and Facebook pages at the OneMic Show. And then follow us on Instagram at OneMic Show. And we're now also on TikTok at the OneMic Show. We're also taking live calls tonight at 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. I want to read that number again. It's 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. I want you to write down that number because it's going to be a fire show tonight. Now, the viral moment that rocked Kenyan social media spaces in the past few days is still making waves globally. A young woman challenged the RIGGY-G and MATIANG'I on tribalism, and the internet hasn't stopped talking. VAL GITHAE, the face behind the fire, will be joining us shortly to share what really went down, whether it was a spur-of-the-moment stand or a calculated civic protest. Then in the news, we'll dive into the crackdown on foreign businesses in Tanzania and how it's affecting Kenyans, and the controversy around proposed laws that seek to restrict consumption, distribution, and the marketing of alcoholic beverages in Kenya. So start dropping your comments below and tell us what you think, what you want us to talk about, and where you're tuned in from. Usisahau. Na bila kusahau, tumekuwa tukipokea mziki toka DJ wetu machachari mleta habari DJ Moshfire, na labda tutadunda kule viwanjani na 𝒃𝒐𝒏𝒕 nambari 7 mgongoni akituletea habari za michezo moja kwa moja toka Kilimanjaro Studios. Mimi mtangazaji na mwanahabari wako mpendwa Ali Badawi. Kwetu wananiita mteule na wengine mniite mjukuu wa Masai, because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui na sibagui. Karibuni.
Now, let's talk politics.
Now, this hour, like I said earlier, we'll be talking to VAL GITHAE, whose viral moments at RIGGY-G's and MATIANG'I's town hall sparked conversations among Kenyans across the world. She's here to tell us what really happened, why she spoke out, and the message she was hoping to send. We also had a controversial DCP shut moment, and Val will tell us if it was a harmless gesture or political bait. Please drop a comment below and tell us where you're tuned in from. I can already see Sam Mwaura is in the building. Thomas Mwaura. There are two Mwauras in the building. Wow, this is so amazing. Sam Mwaura from Boston, and Boston, Massachusetts, and Thomas Mwaura from right here in Baltimore, Maryland. I will repeat the number. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. The number again, 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. And the early birds are the ones who are going to get the best shot to ask Val a question, anything you wanted to know about what she said, or what was being said about her on the media. Today is a day when we reveal all that goes down. So again, Thomas Mwaura, I hope you got that number. It's 202-683-4570 and press *5 to speak. Now we're going to get started right away tonight because the show is jam-packed. Now, tonight we unpack the most unforgettable moments to come out of a diaspora town hall. Clips of a young woman confronting former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and former Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'I have gone viral and set the internet on fire. But this, however, wasn't just a mic drop moment. It was the eruption of a deep frustration simmering within the Kenyan diaspora. The questions she asked on the use of Kikuyu in Kenyan branded events, on exclusion of Gen Zs, and on tribalism not only struck a nerve, but sparked debate and forced reflection far beyond the hall in Baltimore. But who is this young lady? For the regular fan of the OneMic Show, you've definitely seen her before. Last year during the Gen Z Revolt protests here in DC, she stood with a megaphone in hand and a voice unwavering as we marched to the Kenyan Embassy and IMF to demand accountability. She co-organized the protests with me and an army of many volunteers, and her leadership helped shape what became a defining moment of diaspora civic resistance. She then founded the 625 movement, a growing voice in diaspora youth engagement and an emerging civic disruption, who's clearly no longer being ignored. And then tonight, she returns to the OneMic Show, not just as a headliner, but as a guest with intent, vision, and a story to all that need to hear. So ladies and gentlemen, Please drop a fire emoji in the comments if we welcome the one, the only, the undisputed, the indefatigable Valentine GITHAE. Val, karibu sana, karibu sana. Are you ready to rumble tonight?
Yes.
Okay, are you ready to rumble tonight?
Kazi.
Okay. Aya, karibu sana, karibu sana. Now, before we get started, Val, how does it feel coming back on the OneMic Show's hot seat? You know, like it was slightly over a year ago when you're here, but this time you're at the center of a national moment that helped unite and divide Kenyans in equal measure. Val.
It feels nostalgic, mixed feelings, right? So, and also it feels like it's a really eye-opening moment of foundational and fundamental issues rooted in the fabric of our nation. So, yeah, it feels weird. Like some people are, yeah, you're doing the right thing. And then there are some people who are, no, you're not doing the right thing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. I can see Luis Muya is already tuned in. Luis Muya, karibu sana. Please type a comment and let us know where you're tuned in from, what city, what state, what country you're tuned in from. I can also see Mato 𝘍𝘐 is also tuned in. Karibu sana Mato. Please type up and let us know anything you wanted to ask Val. You wanted like to know about what happened, the reaction that came from the media frenzy, and the two different sides. They were all like clipping that soundbite and like describing it in their own way. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Before we continue, I want to welcome my co-host here, DJ 𝘈𝘎𝘎. DJ 𝘈𝘎𝘎 is also in the building. He was missing in those two town halls. The MATIANG'I town hall, missing in action. The Gachagua town hall, missing in action. Maybe DJ 𝘈𝘎𝘎𝘎 can explain himself. DJ, karibu sana.
Sema niaje?
Poa, karibu. So people are asking me about you. Me, I was like, Allah, kwani kwani he's in my luggage. I don't know where he is.
You know, something you need to realize, Ali, is the same way that they were asking for me when I wasn't there from you. It's the same way they ask of you when I go somewhere else and you're not there.
Wow. Okay.
So
fair enough.
This is nothing surprising.
In a fun way,
fair enough.
in a serious way.
But
to participate,
basically, kusema ukweli, sisi watu wa broad-based tulikuwa tu tunaangalia vitu na tunaona mapolicy.
Okay.
Zinaenda.
Okay, so now you're revealing that wewe ni mtu wa broad-based.
I have never said anything otherwise.
Okay.
Sijasema mimi si mtu wa broad-based. I've never said mimi ni, I'm just saying sisi watu wa broad-based, meaning inaonekana na support hiyo broad-based.
Okay.
Yes.
The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. I can see salams from Samrak Apo on YouTube. Karibuni sana watu wa YouTube. And then I have Gold Trigger. I love that name. Gold Trigger tuning in from Baltimore. So I don't know, like if you're going to pull that trigger. Gold Trigger is tuned in from Baltimore and he's dropped the fire emojis. The number to call 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Now, Val, before we go to what happened at the RIGGY-G and MATIANG'I town halls right here in Baltimore, because they were a week apart from each other. People are even forgetting that because I've been seeing so many clips of you.
They were both in Baltimore, right?
They were both in Baltimore. Yes,
but
that's a stronghold.
That wasn't the original.
So Baltimore for RIGGY-G's, Baltimore wasn't the original venue. The original venue was in Lanham.
Yes.
And I think, Bandio is also on panel tonight. Later on, he can tell us. There are people who actually went to the Lanham location.
Correct.
The people went to the Lanham location.
And were seated and waiting. Or were they outside? No, I think the place was closed.
It was empty.
Yes.
Yeah, because there was no proper announcement on the change of venue. And on that note, before we go back to Val, let me welcome Ubelwa Bandio, who's also on panel tonight. Bandio was present in both the MATIANG'I town hall and the RIGGY-G town hall.
Wait a minute. You mean that we now have a...
No, you don't have it.
We are bongo supporters of Kenyan politics.
Yes,
politicians.
Now we'll find out if he's a supporter of Kenyan politics, or if he's a supporter of MATIANG'I, or if he's a supporter of RIGGY-G.
Anaweza kuwa mole. Unajua we have issues with Suluhu.
Mole wa Suluhu.
Yes, because she basically has a Suluhu for us.
Yes, okay. Yes, we'll find that out.
So possibly he could be a mole.
Bandio karibu sana.
Does he normally wear green?
Bandio karibu sana. Huyo Mosha anaongea sana na hakuwepo.
Polish.
Yeah. Karibu sana. So, Bandio, the meeting was supposed to be originally, the original flyer was Lanham, was a church in Lanham, Maryland.
Yes.
and then it was changed to the Hilton at BWI in Baltimore. And we were actually on the phone with you. A number of people had actually gone there. Talk to us about that and what you thought about what was happening on that day, Bandio.
I don't know what happened that day, but it was just a mess. You don't plan for event like that, and then when I called the guy who's one of the organizers, the guy that they gave us, I'm not going to mention the name.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, you didn't see the change of date and venue. It's all over social media.
All over.
What
is all over?
which social media
And
was
what
that?
is all over?
And then what I did, I just went straight to Gachagua's official page, and there
Yes.
was nothing. The only thing I could see was just picture of him and
Matiangi,
yes.
earlier that day.
Earlier that day.
Yes.
And I'm like, knowing that you've been announcing about this for a couple of weeks, you'd expect to have a lot of this going on, rotation and stuff, and nothing was there. So to me, that was sign number one. There was so many things that I observed as somebody who's been covering campaigns for 21 years, minor in political science, and with no side to tech. There was a lot in those two conferences, those town halls, supposedly. I mean, they were named as town halls, but those meetings with diaspora.
And that's something that we're going to talk about. Were those town halls or were they speeches?
They were engagements.
Yes.
That's a story for another
Yes,
day.
so that's a story for
They were
another day.
engagements.
Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. That's Mubelwa Bandio. Again, the number is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. We're going to find out who will be the first caller tonight. But I want to go back to Val. Before we even get to what happened at the RIGGY-G and MATIANG'I town halls, people have one burning question. Like people who are talking to me once we had posted this flyer, they were asking me, who exactly is VAL GITHAE? Because people are starting to get curious. And what is the 625 movement really about? VAL GITHAE,
Yes,
take this
so
home.
I am VAL GITHAE. I am a member of the 625 movement. So 625 movement means June 25th movement. If you remember last year, between June 18th all the way to June 27th, there was a lot of deaths from the Ruto regime. So in order to remember those Shujas who lost their lives, we decided to name our movement that, to
Okay.
commemorate them. So we have been doing civil education grassroots.
Okay.
We have been partnering with the Pan-African community to talk about Kenyan issues and Kenyans' involvement in the African continent, be it in Sudan, be it in Haiti, be it in the DRC. But we are young Kenyans here who care about Kenya, Kenyans here, Kenyans in the US, Kenyans in their diaspora, and we want to fight for human rights. That's our main goal, human rights.
Okay. And for people who maybe, is this an organization where people can get membership, people who want to join or who want to know more about what you're doing? Is there like a place where they can go maybe online on social media? Where can they find you?
Yes, they can find us on Instagram at the 6.25 movement. They can we have a website, the 625 movement on, and they can fill out the form to be a member. They can reach out to us through through Instagram so that we can add them to the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
There's no fee or anything.
Okay.
We work on a volunteer capacity.
Okay, so no QR codes, no pay $50 here.
No.
There's
or
no cash app,
no
hakuna
cash app,
nini,
Zelle.
envelopes,
Okay, brown envelopes
ones,
and all
yellow,
that stuff.
Puerto Rican.
Apana.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sawa sawa. I want to welcome, like Lawrence Kihanya, Baba Hanya, all the way from Baltimore, Karibu Sana. And I can also see Brenda BK all the way from Houston, Texas. Please drop a comment. Let us know where you're tuned in from. Let us know what you want to hear from Val tonight. And the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Now, later on, if we find the clips, we're going to play the clips, the audio clips of Val and what she said in the meetings for those maybe who have been living under a rock and have not seen these viral videos. So we're going to do that later on. And then there was a lot of backlash, Val, from your community. And by your community, I mean the people of the mountain.
Watu wa Murima?
Yes, there was backlash
Haya.
that came. Because part of what you said was you questioned why there was the use of Kikuyu in an event that was branded as a Kenyan event. Any Kenyan could come in. So you question that, and that was at the very beginning of the meeting, you know. So because a lot of people are seeing this clip, they don't realize that this was at the very beginning of the meeting, even before RIGGY-G spoke. And then there was also a DCP t-shirt moment, because RIGGY-G was issuing the luminous green DCP t-shirts and capes, and you were photographed, you know, like
smiling hard.
Yeah, receiving one of those t-shirts.
She received. But I thought that was an exchange.
Yeah, so you know, like, and that's what she's going to tell us about. And then there was a lot of media frenzy. Did it feel like people were reacting to you or what you represented? Or how exactly did you feel when this reaction started coming? Because it was immediate. Right after the meeting, we're already seeing activity on social media. Tell us more about that, Val.
Yeah, I think so. What happened is when we went there, we went like Kenyans, like Gen Zs, Zillennials. I per se did not have any intention of saying what I said. That was not part of the plan. We were just gonna go in and wait till the Q&A session so that we can ask the questions we came in with. But when I noticed that they were singing Kikuyu, I looked around and I noticed there are people I know, couple of them who are not from Mlima. And when I noticed the MC speaking also in Kikuyu, I was like, this is not right, because is this a Kikuyu event or is this a national event? If this was a Kikuyu event, it is okay to speak Kikuyu.
Yes.
But that was not branded as a Kikuyu event. So I think zangu tu zikanishika. And I was like, you know, let me just tell them, use this moment to say the truth. And at that particular time, when I was looking at RIGGY-G, I want him to understand, and I needed him to understand that if he keeps this strategy that he's using, because he's trying to consolidate Mlima, right? That is his plan. But at the expense of what, right? It's like he does this high cousins thing. He does it in Ukambani. Then he comes back to Mlima. Then he tries to go to, where else has it been? In Narok, right? Then he tries the same thing, and then he goes back to Mlima, but he keeps focusing so much on the mountain and forgets that they're the rest of the leaders. And we love the opposition that he's bringing, right? We need that kind of opposition, because right now there is no politician who's actively calling out Ruto like him.
Yeah.
So he is doing a good job with that. But at the same time, he needs to be able to bring the whole, unite us instead of dividing us. I think when I got there and I realized, you know, this guy is acting more like a kingpin, trying to be more like a kingpin, but then he's trying to position himself as being with all Kenyans. It's a bit which is which, you know, be a Kenyan leader. But then I had watched the Boston speech.
Yes.
And I didn't like what was said in the Boston speech.
And what was said there that you did not like?
Well, okay, so what was said there is that the mountain people are industrious. You know, they support the Kenyan economy. And the way it felt to me at that moment is, even if it's true or not, why would you say it? Because we have so many tribes in Kenya that are as hardworking as Kikuyu. Everyone is hardworking in Kenya. Like, you take a Kenyan anywhere in United States or in the diaspora, they succeed regardless of their tribe. So I felt like that moment was a bit stereotypical, especially coming from a national leader. You know, it's like how whites will be like saying, you know, we have a high IQ. But they don't say that other people don't have a high IQ.
Yeah.
But they are pretty much trying to say.
Okay, but the way it comes out.
The way it comes out.
Now, you know, Val, there's people who've argued, and then this is not part of what we're doing here is to try to get all the different narratives that are out there and conversations that people are having. There are people who are saying, if, for example, because RIGGY-G is someone that people want to use to get rid of Kasongo, because I think unanimously overwhelming majority of Kenyans want Kasongo out. And now that he's been singing the one-time song, they feel like he's necessary to be there to be able to get Kasongo out. But then there's this argument that some people are making: if he moves out of that Morima conversation, what exactly is he telling people when he moves out of that mountain conversation? And I'm also actively thinking about myself. I hadn't followed him so much as the member of parliament of Madira constituency, so I personally did not have too much to say about him back then. But the question is, outside that I am protecting the mountain, you know, like, what other message can he give people that is gonna resonate? So that's a question that some people are asking.
Well, I don't know what other message he can give. I mean, if I was him, I would try to start positioning not just myself and try to start shaping the fabric of the country, because he keeps saying that he's sorry for what he did, right? Which is there was a Gen Z who asked why we should trust him to tell us who to vote when he's the one who told us to vote for Ruto, right?
Yeah.
And then he apologized about that, right? Saying that he did not know and he was also tricked. And this goes back to last year. Is it that he did not know and he was tricked, or is it because he's out of government and is running this rampage?
Okay. Number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. DJ Tucha, been a long time. DJ Tucha is tuned in and saying, watching direct from Garbatula. Akina Moha say hi. So DJ Tucha anasema yuko Garbatula. Tucha, send us a selfie. Yeah, Sheke is also tuned in, but we don't know where she's tuned in from. If she's tuned in from Kiev, if she's tuned in from Malagasy,
she might be right outside Gaza.
Or maybe she might be outside there. So please tell us where you're tuned in from. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. We have Val in the studio, and we also have MATIANG'I, who is also absent without apology. But working remotely. Working remotely without talking to
seriously, HR. What is this? Like 8 weeks?
Okay. MATIANG'I, twende kazi.
Welcome to the OneMic Show.
Okay. MATIANG'I, I think
on mute.
Yes, I think he's sleeping on the job even while working from home.
Anatumia thumbs.
I am on mute. I just joined in, so I'm trying to catch up.
Okay.
Karibuni sana, asanteni sana.
Okay.
And Val.
Yes.
I learned a new word today. Zillennials.
Yes.
Kaende.
Okay. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak, and you're tuned into the OneMic Show. I'm your host and producer, Ali Badawi. We are speaking with none other than VAL GITHAE, founder of the 625 movement, whose voice and video clips have dominated headlines from both RIGGY-G's and MATIANG'I's recent town halls in Baltimore. We'll shortly unpack whether these town halls truly address diaspora concerns, or if we were just used for props and as optics. Did our issues get airtime, or were we just part of the audience? We'll also ask, why is the Kenyan diaspora in the US so politically magnetic despite having very few votes? And more important, do we actually know what we want as the diaspora? And can we redesign maybe these town halls to create impact? We're going to be talking about that too. So keep it locked for that and more. And please drop a comment and let us know what you think and where you're tuned in from. Our lines are open, 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. I can see also Nonini 𝒂𝑍𝒍 is in the building. Nonini anasema, let me be the devil's advocate. People honestly believe one term is going to sit and watch an election get him out. We need to be a little bit serious. Our electoral system has never been democratic. The last time people did it free and fair was first time ya Obako. Kwanzia second term into kitu haijawahi kuwa legit. So Nonini 𝒂𝑍𝒍, you know, like sharing some concerns there. But Nonini, tell us the way forward. You know, like what exactly should we do? Because you're 2027, is knocking on the door. I know Tanzania this year has an election in October, but it looks like any independent observer watching from the outside
is that an election?
Is thinking that Kenya is a country that has an election.
Nonini said something that I've been thinking about a lot. So unaona venye sahi Ruto is a tribalist. We know that already.
Yes.
Gachagua pia is running on that tribalism, right? Most leaders that we have are tribalists. I was thinking about two scenarios that might happen in 2027. And this is one of the reasons I was telling RIGGY-G. If he wants, because the enemy of our enemy is our friend. If we want Kasongo to go, right? If he positions himself as a national leader than a tribal leader, we'll be closer to the goal. Because if everybody starts saying, oh, X is my leader, right, from this tribe, and then X is my leader from this tribe, and then X is my leader from this tribe, even the Ruto atarudi.
Atapita
katikati. Because think about this, Aya. Let's say Gachagua finds someone to run for presidency, right?
Yes.
Then the Gen Zs find someone to run for presidency,
yes,
or someone else who is supported by the Gen Zs. Then Ruto decides to run for presidency, right? Mlima will vote because, again, tribalism, tribal politics, will vote who Gachagua fronts, just like they did with Ruto, right? They voted Ruto because Gachagua was supporting him. Hizo ni votes zimeshaenda. Aya. Gen Zs now will vote whoever they, or I don't know, Mutata or Maraga, whoever is going to be there at that moment, okay? And then now you have the rest of the country, because there are people who are still singing two-term, and there are people who are very strong about it. So all Ruto needs to do is look like he is winning. So even if he's not winning, when he brings that facade that he is winning, na kuseme kuwe na difference ya 600, 700 votes, they can easily steal that vote. Because that is what they've been saying. They're gonna, if you look at the elections, they're saying lazima wataingia 2027. So what are they planning?
But don't you foresee a scenario where, with all these candidates running, we might be in a situation where we do not have a candidate who hits 50% plus one? Is that a possibility?
That is a possibility.
Okay, so if he doesn't hit 50% plus one, that means he hasn't won.
Yes, but that's why I'm saying he has to act like he has to play that game, like to look like he's winning.
Yes.
So that hata yeye aibe hiyo kura afikishe hapo. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so he has to posture himself like he's in the lead.
Yes.
So that he can justify the results that that may be doctored.
Yes. Another risk too, again, this is if Ruto is if Gachagua is fronting someone, right? Again, because maybe he might font someone who the Gen Zs don't support.
Yeah.
Right? Another scenario is msishtuke. I know right now there's an Gachagua had this. They're trying to see if he can get like on the ballot, right? He was impeached, right?
Yes,
but they're trying to see if he can get on the ballot, right?
Yeah.
Msishtuke Ruto akikubali get on the ballot.
So as a Ruto project.
Not as a Ruto project, but to the advantage of Ruto, because then Mlima will try to vote for Gachagua.
But then if he gets on the ballot, doesn't he become, like a Ruto project, kind of what Kibaki did in 1992 and denied Matiba a chance at defeating Daniel Arap Moi?
And then we can phrase it like that, but...
Yani unasema divide and rule.
Yeah.
So 1992...
Basically saying split the vote and then the other chap goes in.
1992, there was no 50% plus one.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, Moi was winning elections by 30-something percent. That's Moi was winning elections, and that worked at that particular time. So now, because you need 50% plus one, you have to figure out who you want to bring on board to get you to cross that
50,
line.
yes. Yeah. And then give you the one.
Now, another scenario is being said that Baba will get angry and bolt out of broad-based.
Okay.
Yes, like he did with Kanu back before the 2002 elections. So he will bolt out and then Baba might also run.
Which means this,
So these are possible
which
scenarios.
means this vote is now split in 4.
The vote is split
Hivyo
in
ndio
four.
Ruto atarudi.
Juu kutakuwa na Gen Z, kutakuwa na Baba, alafu kutakuwa na Ruto, and then whoever can
Gachagua
RIGGY-G and all of them.
But think about it, in such a scenario,
there is no 50+1. There can't be.
There's no 50+1.
Can't be.
But then, anyone who's top 3, you don't even have to be number 1.
So what are the rules for the runoff?
So the rules for the runoff, it's the top 2 candidates who will go on the runoff. However, think about it this way. Let's say Gen Zs have decided Kaende, and they all vote for Maraga. Let's even say, hypothetically, Maraga is number 1.
Okay.
Kasongo number 2. Baba number 3. So in such a scenario, runoff is Maraga versus Kasongo.
Correct.
Guess what? All that Ruto needs to do is just reunite with Baba again. You know, do another handshake.
Correct.
And you know, like even with some of the comments that Ruto has been making, like the time he was telling Sifuna, we were the founders of this party.
We're the founders, yeah. We can come back and kick you out.
I will not be surprised if
ODM and UDA come together and have a MOU.
No, not.
I mean, have a new party.
No, not come together. Not come together. If UDA is dissolved
and absorbed within ODM.
Yes.
It's a possibility.
Because you know why that's a possibility.
Because ODM is
because the way Kasongo is calculating, he's calculating that Baba is of advanced age.
Correct.
And he's looking to inherit Baba's base, because ODM right now doesn't have any natural successor. There's no natural successor in ODM. If something happened to Baba today, like ODM would be all over the place.
Yeah, it will be Splitsville, yes.
Yeah, it will be Splitsville. So
at
now,
least to us on the outside, unless they surprise us.
Yeah, so
at
now
least that's what it looks like for us.
So now Ruto wants to come in, and now once your family in with ODM, and then something happens to Baba while you're in ODM, guess who's the natural successor? It is William Samoei Ruto. Guess what voters William Ruto has inherited? He's inherited the Nyanza. Forget about Coast. Let's talk about Nyanza.
Yeah,
because Coast has not to go here and there.
It's a pretty big block.
Yeah, it's a pretty big block. Yeah. So he's looking to inherit that core base. And do you know who pulled this move many years ago? And it worked. Vladimir Putin. Remember Vladimir Putin, at some point, Russia had the term limit. Yeah, had a term limit of 2 terms. But after running for 2 terms, Putin strategically stepped back and allowed Medvedev to become president, then used Medvedev to amend the constitution, and now Putin came back. He's a president for life. So all that...
And Medvedev is his chap of security.
All that Ruto needs to do, if he gives Baba the presidency, even if it's just for 1 year, guess what? All Baba's base, and I'm talking about essentially Luo Nyanza, they're going to look at that scenario and say, we've been waiting for this thing from 1963. You know, because it's very emotional. You know, like I've been an ODM guy for a long time, so I understand.
There's a lot of
emotion.
Nyanza,
that's why
Nyanza has been locked out.
That's why I've not been quite as angry at people from there, because I've been in there, so I understand that emotion that's involved. So you've been waiting from 1963. That is more than 60 years, and then finally you give this guy a chance. So let's say he gives Baba a chance to be president, and then Baba, you know, like meets his maker. But before he meets his maker, they talk and they do a constitutional amendment. Because you see, there's talk of conclave and all this. All this is to amend the constitution. Part of what they want to do is to extend the term limit from 5 years to 7 years and increase it from 2 to 3. So think about it. If Kasongo takes a break in 2022, rather 2027, and then if it's Baba, whoever it is, and then he comes back in 2032 for a 7-year term. So he rules from 2032 to 2039. Then after 2039, he still has another term to go, because the constitution has been amended to 3 terms. 2039 to 2046. Almost, how old are you going to be in 2046?
I think at that time, I don't think VAL will be calling herself Gen Z.
These are scenarios. Number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5. Val, what do you think about that? These are political scenarios. These are possibilities.
Anything at this point, anything is possible. Ata Uhuru was telling us shit about Ruto, and now today they were shaking hands.
There was a handshake.
So anything is possible. But you know what? I was also thinking about RIGGY-G. And okay, actually, before I even jump to that, what you said is why I was telling RIGGY-G why he needs to be a national leader. Not that I'm supporting him and we are not supporting him, but if he continues like this, it will be so easy with all these scenarios we played out for Ruto to be president.
And he doesn't have to work.
He just
walks in.
It will be that easy.
You're
but
right.
Also another thing is, I feel like and this is what Gachagua is doing, what RIGGY-G is doing. This is my assumption. So he's trying to consolidate Mlima, right? And right now there is, I'll say allegedly, that his party, the DCP, is saying they are kind of trying to be the only party in Mlima, that they're trying to like this is allegedly, are trying to like monopolize the, like how Baba has done with ODM.
Yes.
Try to do that in Central. So even if he's not president, he will have members of parliament from Mlima who he can sort of control. The same way we've seen. Baba is not in now it's broad-based government, but for this broad-based government to pass, Baba had to let his MPs know, or his members of parliament know, to support Ruto's people.
Yes.
Same playbook. I think that's what is going to happen.
So he's going to basically be selling the tickets, because that's a ticket that will be popular in Murima by 2027.
Yes, and he can tell, let's say, candidate X, hey, I'm bringing Mlima to you. This is what I want in return. We've seen that happening over and over and over.
So it's a business pretty much.
Exactly. And this is why I feel like the Mlima people, we need to step out of the whole 𝑚𝒂𝑡𝑢 thing and see things for what they are. These people have been in government for years. What do we have as a people? And I'm not talking about Mlima, I'm talking about Kenya in general. These old legacy politicians. The narrative continues. Usishtuke hata Ruto na Gachagua akishake hands. Me at this point,
nothing will shock me.
Nothing will shock me.
Yeah.
And I know we are saying, Kikuyus, we are saying CCC tribal. Tulivotia Ruto na tulisupport Raila. But how did that even come to happen? It's because there was a Kikuyu who was supporting them.
Okay.
Kama Gachagua, kama kungekuwa na Mkikuyu hapo, nadhani tungevotia either one. You know what I mean?
On Ruto's ticket?
Yeah.
If let's say he picked Kindiki.
Yeah. Or he picked, maybe Kindiki would have worked a little bit.
Still, he's mountainish.
He's
close to the mountain.
Close to the mountainish.
Yeah.
Maybe if
he had a non-mountainous
person. Let's say he had, let's say he had you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So a non-mountain person.
This Bongo Flavor guy?
Yes.
Kuna this Bongo Flavor guy. But anyway.
So, and this is why we are saying, until the biggest problem we have in this conversation, this trending video has really, for me, I've realized that we have it's deep. The tribalism, political tribalism is deep. And I'm not saying don't embrace your tribe.
It's so interesting to hear Gen Z saying this.
Yeah. No, it is.
Really, she hasn't lived the tribalism thing. You get what I'm saying?
But you see, when you
think about it, tribalism as we know it.
You see, the problem is our politics from the time we got independence, from how we were organized, from the groups that went to Lancaster.
Yeah.
It goes that far back. Mm-hmm. They went by tribe.
By zones and areas where you came from. And that was done on purpose.
Yeah, and even when you look at the original counties, because Kenya had, they were called districts then at independence.
Was it 8?
They were all, no, those are provinces. So there were districts.
Oh, yes.
Because we had two houses. We even had senators at independence.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
But they were divided, like specifically ethnically. In fact, Meru and Tharaka Nithi, they were one it used to be one district. Kisii,
Tharaka
Tharaka-Nithi. That's where votes are stolen.
Yeah, that's happened. If you just say Tharaka-Nithi,
Ukisikia Tharaka-Nithi,
you
ujua
just
kura
know
inaibiwa.
things are bad.
Yeah,
Start
nikubaya.
running.
And then Kisii and Nyamira were also one district.
Kisii was not divided. It didn't have
wasn't
all
divided.
those other things. All those west, right? No, it was all, Kisii was Kisii.
Yes. So that's how, like everything was organized, and unfortunately, that's how things continued in such that unakuta mtu hata ambaye hajaishi ushago, but when it comes to politics, they just understand that I am supposed to support this side because they are my tribe. He doesn't speak his language. They know nothing about, they know very little about their culture. But when it comes to politics, that one thing, they've been taught to look at these guys as the enemies and their people as their liberators. And the one thing that concerns me about the Gen Zs is that millennials, we were also being told at some point that, we are the ones who are going to come to change Kenyan politics. It never happened. So I'm a bit jittery, I'm a bit concerned. I need to see numbers, I need to wait. Gen Zs haven't quite registered yet to vote. I hope that registration is opened. Then I want to look at the results by age demographic in these by-elections. Because this by-elections coming up, it's going to be like a mini election.
Yeah, but also it's very challenging. I'm hearing reports that it's getting difficult to register. I'm not quite sure why, but it
hasn't been opened. Apparently, it has not been opened for
also,
registration.
Yeah, and then also remember the ID pricing before. See, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. That's a poll tax.
Exactly. So it's challenging. But then this is what the problem with so when that video went viral, we've seen even the government using it, Paula lie. I saw literally Moses Kuria cut the part where I said Kasongo will be back. Literally cut that part and used that, right? And then we have all these people talking about Gen Z this, Gen Z that. But I feel, this is just me, I feel like, no, this is us. This is a collective feeling. We feel that they want to use, like I said, what we are saying, right? Even that one term, right? They want to use that one term.
Yeah.
But when it comes to really talking about the values that Gen Zs hold, which is tribeless, number one, fearless, two, and equity and equality, right?
Yeah.
Good leadership, good governance.
Leaderless 𝑚𝑒toa.
Leaderless bado iko.
Leaderless ndio alianza nayo.
Leaderless bado iko. Hizo values, they are not that's where they draw the line when it comes to the values,
Yes.
And it's pathetic. But to be able to get Kenya to where it has to get to, we have to address political tribalism.
Okay.
Tribal politics.
Politics, which is very entrenched.
Yeah. So and let me make this very clear. Mi sina shida. Culture is good. We all come from somewhere, but it becomes very dangerous when it's used to divide us. And like you mentioned, all the way from colonization. So this is a tactic.
Yes.
So we start also by decolonizing our minds and also addressing the tribal issue. Because if we don't address tribalism, how are we going to address corruption? Because tutavote tu mtu wetu, and this has been the culture, right? We vote tu mtu wetu. What does the mtu wetu go do for you?
It will remain a poisonous pill.
Yes, and we will never move forward. And the cycle, unless we break this cycle, Kenya will stay the way it is or get even worse. Because right now we just found the super highway is not a national asset. Right?
Wow.
Nairobi Superhighway is not a national asset.
It's private. It's privately held. And the former president was, but anyway, that's a story for another day. Yeah. DJ Tucha hapa anasema election time splitting votes is a must. And then Washeke anasema tuned in from Moroni, Comoros na Wangazija huko. All right. So tell us what's happening huko visiwa vya Ngazija. And then hapa yeah, she's in Comoros. Hapa Lawrence Kihanya anasema as long as Rigathi is injecting against Kasongo, I am good. I don't know of anything worse than our kids getting killed for voicing their voices. And then hapa DJ Tuchana sema election time splitting the votes is a must. Thomas Mwaura, please call us 202-683-4570, press *5 to speak. Anasema is deliberate that you have assumed that only CJ Maraga and RIGGY-G are in play. Explain that, yeah. And then hapa DJ Tucha amesema you all know that RIGGY-G could also be a double agent. Anyone think of that? He could be working for Ruto to split the vote. Very possible too.
Matiang'I.
And then we have Babahanya. Instead of criticizing RIGGY-G, which makes Ruto look good, we should be busy pushing all the opposition to form a united front to remove Kasongo. By the way, 99.99% of politicians are tribal. I disagree with Lawrence. There is quite an overwhelming number who are tribal, and I think the tribal ones, they occupy the airwaves, and they're the ones who are constantly being played. But there are so many leaders out there who are doing a good job, but because our media, generally media all over the world, like sensation, they will focus on the ones who are not doing well. And then hapa Habo Kumo anasema true story. I think you are on to something. Mike, you were saying something.
Mike was injecting. I think.
No, I was saying.
Yeah.
There's Maraga, RIGGY-G, but people are forgetting Matiang'I.
Yeah.
Fred Matiang'I.
Man.
And I think that's where Thomas Mwaura was trying to get to.
Okay.
But let him call and substantiate.
Yeah.
Let me not think for him.
Okay.
There's someone who said so long as RIGGY-G is injecting Nisawa. You know, the worst situation in Kenya can be, yes, we remove Ruto. Alafu to replace the same type of person, like they say someone who's just like him.
You mean the same person with a different name?
Yes. Yeah. Who's worse than him, like him, or slightly worse than him. What is that going to benefit? There's a reason why we are saying 𝒂𝒂𝘈𝘆, because the political class has continued to show us that they don't care about us. They only care about themselves.
And I think that's where I'm having a question, especially for Gen Z. 𝒂𝒂𝘈𝘆, then who? Because this is what happened in Libya, right? They get rid of Muammar Gaddafi and they say we don't want anybody who ever affiliated with Muammar Gaddafi. That man was in power for how many years? You know, for the longest. And then they put, okay, we're going to put new people here who didn't know anything about running the government. And look where we are. My question is, do you really don't want a person, or you don't want the mindset? Because if you force Ruto to do something, you know, you can have the same president, but with a different mindset, right? So 𝒂𝒂𝘈𝘆, but what does that really mean? When you're talking about recycling, what do you really mean? But we don't want to recycle and stuff like that. Because for me, I think we need to get to the point where you can realize that having a brand new person, it's even more dangerous than having an old person with new mindset. Okay.
Old person with new mindset.
Even if not old as far as in age, but well, no, because tell me what's going to happen if you forget everybody who has been in the system. Or do you guys have people who can say these people are clean, right? Because you guys say leaderless, but the moment you say we are behind this person, that's your leader. All right. When you say yes, fearless is good. Leaderless, I'm not sure. Going leaderless at this point, I think I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole thing about Gen Z, because you have common enemy, and that's the president. Once Ruto is gone, then who next?
So I know I think now this is where there's a rift between, I feel like they're not understanding what we are saying. Yes, Ruto is an enemy, but it doesn't change the fact that they're the legacy politicians, right?
Okay.
The ones who've been in power, the ones who are corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
That we want a system change, right? And to be able to get those system changes, we can't do it if we vote for the same people over and over and over. But you have a valid question, then what, right? Who are we bringing in? I'm sure, I truly believe that there are people in Kenya who are maybe not the political class, who, when given that chance to be a member of parliament, to be an MCA, even among us Gen Zs, we can do it. We've seen that in is it London, in Britain, where the members of parliament are all young.
So
Not all, sorry, I'm exaggerating. There are a few who are young, right? So it's possible, but if we keep, this cycle won't end.
But now the question is, we of course have 2 years to elections. Are there, like maybe 2-3 names that you have in mind?
That's what
Babahanya is asking, where in the world did I promote tribalism? Or I think Habokumu was telling Babahanya, hiyo kabila imetufikisha wapi, hiyo merry-go-round tushuke. And then Ulrika Bernard seems to like Omoshe's hair. I think that's a private conversation. Ulrika anasema Omosh hair looking on flick. And then Babahanya says, is telling me, can you ask the lady who she's supporting so we can look at his or her record? So
you already did.
So not necessarily who you're supporting, but is there like any 2-3 personalities that you have in mind that if you think that if these guys took the presidency seat, I think Kenya will go somewhere?
So
is there
Omutata, Okiya Omutata, and Maraga? Those are the ones.
Okay. And those are the ones that Gen Zs are presently looking at.
Yes. As of now, I don't know if things will change, but yes.
Okay.
Did you guys have like a checklist?
I think for Okiya Omutata, he's been very active, like in terms of human rights advocacy, and this didn't start right now, it's been there. Also, if you notice during the protests, he was very he attended the protests, so that kind of gave him some favor within young Kenyans. And then if you look at the big event that was hosted in Uhuru Park, there was only one politician who was, if I have anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, who was allowed to speak in that Uhuru Park concert, Okiya Omutata.
But my question now, where do those 3 things ranks when it comes to? I want the president who can, like in the US, they say, we want the president who can, wake up, pick up a call at 2 a.m., somebody who's firm, somebody who can, negotiate.
He hasn't said he's running for presidency.
Okay. He said he's setting up an exploratory committee.
Yeah.
Maraga is the one who's announced. And I think, in my perception, I think one of the reasons why Gen Zs are trending towards Maraga and Omtata is because Gen Zs understand the 2010 constitution. They do not know that other old thing. So one of the most important things that I'm hearing them say is we want law and order restored, because these 2 administrations, Uhuru and Ruto, disregard of law and order is the biggest thing that has facilitated corruption, the disrespect of court orders. So I feel like Gen Z, and Val, you could correct me if I'm wrong, they see like if there's a restoration of law and order, having someone on top there who has fidelity to what the constitution is saying, it's gonna start solving a lot of these other problems that we're getting, like these problems to do with odious debt or capitation for schools, like being sent to schools that kuna kibao tu, it doesn't exist, and billions being sent to people. So there's a lot of things they feel like having someone who leads through, like we're going to follow the constitution, we're going to follow the law, it's going to start solving many other problems.
So like I say, yes, I wish there was a checklist. For me, I wish there was a checklist that to say, this is what we want, and this is the person who fits into this. Other than that, I feel like there will be some changes. People change their mind, or this is the person. I mean, if you bring the checklist, if there was a checklist saying that this is what we want from the president who can do this and this and this and this, and we can start checking those candidates through it. Ichondo sione, and I'm speaking as someone because I watched politics, and I can almost guarantee you, I watch Kenyan politics. If it's not equal, probably more than you guys doing. Okay. But I'm watching from outside. And sometimes I feel like the only reason other people are supporting those candidates is just because of what candidates say, and you must have Kenyan politics background. Outside that, from somebody from outside, somebody who's not Kenyan, sometimes it makes you wonder, why are they really supporting this person, And when you go to what we call, I think it's the rule of communication, especially when talking about something emotional. You know, the 7-38-55 rule, right? That 7% is what is being said, 38 is the body language, and 55 is how
it's being said.
How it's being said, and that's what I hear. Sometimes you can watch the entire conference or town or something, and all they do is just hype. This one time, this and this one time. Like this just get planning.
Slogans, yeah.
Hakuna plan hata moja.
Yeah.
And I'm worried kwamba there are people watachagua watu. There's a difference between utashi na uhitaji. Okay? It's what they want, not what they need. It's just because it seems like right now, what people want.
Yeah, we want Kasongo gone.
Yes.
Yeah, we want Kasongo gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Bandio has some valid points, but even more than what they will do, we want to look at a track record, because we already have an issue with Kasongo based on promises. This is what he said, and people believed him. So I think anyone can say anything, but they cannot change their track record. I think we have a caller. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. We have VAL GITHAE in the studio. Let's go to the caller.
3335.
Okay.
Welcome to the OneMic Show.
Okay, caller, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
So this is Thomas Mwaura. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Mwaura. Talk to us. And where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I was waiting for the... Say again?
Where are you calling us from, Mr. Mwaura, today? Ala, Mr. Mwaura amepotea.
Unmute on your side. Two things.
Okay. Now we can hear you. So yeah, I was asking where are you calling us? Where are you calling us from today?
State at least.
Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore, Maryland. All right, talk to us,
Yeah.
Mr. Mwaura.
So I wanted to inject about two things. One of them is the idea that you're going to sweep the people that have been in government completely. That's a pipe dream to begin with. I'll give you an example why that's not necessarily what's going to solve us. 𝑘𝒆𝒏𝒕 was in government since the 60s, during Tomboya days, so in the same parliament of Tomboya. Meaning, he even worked to be the vice president of 𝑘𝒆𝒏𝒕. Do you remember that? But then when he became president, he brought his own forte, his own style of running the country, which was totally different from Arap Moi. Moi was a menace, let's know that. So, some of the people you see, and I think I explained this to some people before, you can be a minister in somebody's government, but the buck doesn't end with you. It ends with that boss of yours, right? So, if you're going to look for somebody who can go to places and talk to people, Hitler did that. And Hitler was very good about activism and being with people. But what happened when he got on the seat? So, for me, I know that the other thing I was saying that when Mike was right when he said, I was trying to inject the fact that CJ and Rigathi are not the only people running. I was trying to say, I'm biased here because I have the chairman of the Secretariat of Dr. MATIANG'I. I think he is a serious contender, on the ground, if you look at the polls. So you cannot assume and play it as if the only people who are contending here are Rigathi and Maraga. That's not necessarily true. And the third point is, if Kalonzo is going to run for president, the first thing that happens is that his community coalesces around him. That's very natural. It happens organically. His community will first coalesce around him and try to sell him to the whole country. Saying, this is a guy from Eastern, he's great, and that kind of stuff. The same thing will be happening to Dr. MATIANG'I. Gachagua is a little different in that what VAL mentioned, in terms of again and again and again, emphasizing the Mrima part, as Mrima is being attacked by other people, stuff like that. That's a little different. I'm not supporting that. All I'm saying is that the idea that the country cannot have a good leader because it's being fronted by his community, that is not true. And there will be no time when a leader will not be fronted by his community first, because that's the way the country is. So the other thing I would like to mention here is VAL and his team, and her team, are doing a great job in that we're having this conversation right now. They're able to walk up there and tell Omanyoro, listen, you cannot be speaking to crew like that. The reason why I like that is because I have Gen Zs in my house. I have 2 Gen Zs in my house. So when I come with them into that meeting, they are not going to follow what's going on. And you realize that our kids don't travel with us anymore, because sometimes we go into a place and then people are speaking that language. And they don't get it and they don't like it. So we need to tell our leaders, particularly if you come to Maryland and Baltimore for that matter, it is a multicultural city. Maintain the language that is national. Maintain the language that someone from the coast all the way to Kisumu will understand. That could be Swahili or English. Thank you.
Okay, asante sana, Mr. Mwaura. And hopefully, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We still want Dr. Matiang'I right here in the studio. And I know you're the chair of the DMV secretariat of his campaign. So how is that going? Are we going to see him here soon? Ama tungoje?
I'll be going to Minneapolis.
Okay.
All right. I'll be accompanying him in the town hall in Minneapolis.
Yes.
We'll have a lot of time because I'll be there from tomorrow to Monday.
Okay.
I've spoken to him about coming to one, and I think I told you, I've spoken to him about coming to OneMic. Make sure that the next time he's in the United States, because he's leaving after Minneapolis.
Okay.
The next time that he comes to the United States, we'll be able to host him.
Yeah, so let us know when he's coming back as soon as you have the dates, and we'll make plans for that, because people, like, this will be an opportunity for people outside the states that people typically visit: Dallas, DC, Minneapolis, Atlanta.
Seattle.
Yeah, outside those states, there are people from Iowa, there are people from Kansas, there's so many other places that people wanna talk to them. Hawaii, we have people in Canada who Alaska. Call our show, like Alaska. So all these people, they need to get on a platform where those people will also have some access and they can talk to them. But Mr. Mwaura, I know you'll make that happen. So thank you so much for giving us a call today. Asante sana.
Before you go, Mr. Mwaura, the Gen Zs in your house, are they registered to vote?
Yes.
That's what I need to make sure they do.
Okay. All right.
By the way,
challenge.
You bring a very good point. Before you go, I want the parents in this area. My influence is in this area of Baltimore. My Gen Z is 24, and the other one is 27. All right? So we need to make that happen. We need to be the drivers of making sure that these kids, even though they were born here, we need to make sure that these kids actually connect to Kenya by making them dual citizens. That's something they may not be able to do on their own, and actually they don't care. But we have to create that interest. And I've taken upon myself and a few people to try and educate these kids, because they're more than us now. The way we have multiplied in this country, like we have been competing to get children. And now, there are quite a number of them. We will make sure that they do.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for that question. It's very important.
Okay, asante.
All right. Asante sana. I'm going to give you a chance, Val, to react to what Baba Mwaura said.
So, when it comes to Matiang'I, we cannot ignore that he is also a presidential candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I know initially there was was it a coalition or prospect of coalition between him, Gachagua, Kalonzo, Wamalwa.
I think Martha was also there.
Martha Karua. Yeah. Nobody quite knows what happened. Or they just stopped.
They haven't defined it yet. They haven't defined it. They did meet, but they have not come out and said, okay, we've chosen a leader, or this is our person as an opposition or whatever. They just met as people who are leaders.
Leaders, yes. So, first of all, Matiang'I, when he was in the Ministry of Education, he did do a good job. We cannot ignore that.
Okay.
But I think the questions that we have as Gen Zs and what is making Gen Zs feel a little bit hesitant was when he was violating the court orders.
As Minister of Interior.
Exactly. You know, I know some of the questions he has answered, some of the questions he answered about Riviala, right? He answered those questions. Also, when he was he was the cabinet secretary, when people are taking Huduma numbers, at one point he said, if you don't take this Huduma number, you might not get services, something in that
from the
line.
government.
Yes, from the government.
Exactly. So those tendencies, they feel so
dictatorial.
Yes.
And I think that is what is making Gen Zs hesitant about supporting him. Because if he wasn't in power and he was moving like that, what's going to happen?
But he was in power.
And also,
but I'm talking about president. He wasn't president.
He was a proxy for the president. So he was in power. I wouldn't say he wasn't in power. He just didn't have the title of president.
There was also also the illegal deportation of Miguna.
Exactly.
We covered that very extensively here. So I think those are things he needs to come out and speak about.
Yes. And
Wasn't
then
Kina Atur thrown out during his regime too?
That was my friend.
The guys who were brought over here to be in it tried. That wasn't Kibaki's time.
No, that's not Arturo. You're talking about Akashas.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our two brothers was Kibaki's time.
Yeah, that was Kibaki's time, yeah. But Miguna is a bona fide Kenyan. Miguna was a bona fide Kenyan, that's that, and until today he's not been able to return to Kenya.
Yeah, and then another thing, he works for the World Bank.
But he has traveled to Kenya.
Oh yeah, he did. Ruto allowed him to go back.
Yeah,
Ruto allowed him to go back. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
severally.
Yeah, he worked for the World Bank, right? And over the years, we have seen what these institutions, the IMF and World Bank, they're almost the same.
They're the same.
They're the same, right? And you know, if you guys listen to this guy called, I don't know how truthful he is, but he does say some things like, was it 𝒕𝒉𝘄𝑔𝘐? And he was mentioning something one time he was mentioning something about, to be the president of the Central Bank of Kenya, you have to have worked for the World Bank or the IMF. And the reason is because you have to put their interests first. I don't know how true that is or not. But for me, my concern is Matiang'i working for the World Bank can be an advantage or a disadvantage. It can be an advantage in terms of he knows how these systems work, and he can use that to help reduce debt in Kenya, right? But the other disadvantage is he could be used to continue
the cycle
of debt. So that also, maybe he has to clarify that. So those are some of the concerns we hold, you know.
Okay, all right. So Mike.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in. And let me go back and revert back to Bandio's statement that had me thinking. I think Kusamatu one term does not, at some point, okay, then akitoka. I was gonna equate that to like what the Thugly clans had been pushing even prior to the before the election, but during the presidential campaigns, they already had, it was either immigration. What was it? They had a few things listed.
Ocean,
and I think
immigration, economy, the Republicans.
Economy, something like that, taxes. They were hitting on a few things that were concerning. The closest thing that has been articulated to approximately, maybe to answer Bandio, the closest thing that I think has been articulated by the wants of the people protesting. There was a gentleman who was holding a People's Kamkunji in Nairobi. If you guys remember that, it was like in 4 or 5 parts, where he was articulating what the needs were. And he gave an example of, if I have 1,000 shillings, but people in the naniipoteza, lakini watu nyumbani in the house wamekula wameshiba, hakutakuwa na makelele. But if I had 100 shillings and it poteas and the people in the house are hungry, then the issue is there's gonna be a full-out war. Ideally, what you were saying was watu hawakutani na pesa. Waliambiwa watakutana na pesa. Watu hawakutani na pesa. Instead of, and I remember this, if you guys recall, there's a time recently he posed a question, and it's a legitimate question. He's asking Munasema one time, Ruto must go. Fine, go where? What are you guys going to implement? What is your program? What is your plan? Now, some people might say, we can give you a plan, then Ruto is going to take that and steal it and try to use it or whatever. But ideally, at some point, there has to be, the messaging has to change in that, what different are you going to do? And you have to point out specifics. Kama sasa pesa za capitation, onge. Shifsha, Shifshu, Taifa Leo, onge gotire. This guy is, some things that are basic and common to the people. I talk to my mom every so often. I talk to my brother on the ground every so often. Na ako Kenya, na anasema mse lazima aende. But they want a direction. Tunataka pesa mfukoni. We want money in our pockets. There has to be something that these guys, it's not just enough to say Ruto must go or one term. What else are you going to what exactly? You can point out to his policies and say, this is what I'm going to do different. But again, it is 2025. Mechi ata ajaanza na sio mbichi. 2026 is when you start seeing that. So is it 2027? January. Over to you, back to the studio.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. So there was some comments that were coming in here. Quite a few comments were coming in as we were speaking. DJ Tuchana Sema, you can never trust someone who was part of the problem to begin with. Checklist or not, Gen Z have opened people's eyes to this BS. That's our politics. Tribal politics is dying, if not be dead by 27, hopefully. And then Babahanya Nasema, Bandio is on point. Then I can see here Mato Da Forster tu anasema RIGGY-G won't be on the ballot in 27, but don't blame him for trying to consolidate his base. Politics is a game of numbers, and he knows well numbers matters in this game politics. Again, he isn't the most underrated. He's the most underrated politician in Kenya, but his impeachment has shown he can be a big time disruptor. Deep down, Ruto regrets
Who
impeaching
underrates
him.
RIGGY-G, to be honest? I mean, if you know politics, okay, if you really know politics, that man is one of the best second people you need. It's just like US. Remember when Obama had Biden? Biden was just like mobilizer, attack dog. That was the guy. I'm not sure why.
I think Ruto underestimated RIGGY-G. I don't think he realized if he knew that this would be the impact of impeaching RIGGY-G, he would never have impeached him.
But I think he picked him because he knew his strength.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure why you say that Ruto I think he just didn't think it was going to flip this way. Oh, he thought this was going to finish him.
Our regular politics has always been, as the leader, you set the tone, not the underling setting the tone for you. And in this particular case, it was the action on the underling that set the tone and not the action that transpired. You get what I'm saying? Meaning this guy, it's almost like he was sensationalized by being impeached. Had he not been impeached, there could have been a way to work this thing with the so-called conversations that always
my
happen.
question to you, people following Kenyan politics, you good people of Kenya,
yes,
why is Kenya where it is? Because everybody must know their past to stand firm in the future. Why are we, or how did we get where we are right now? If you can help me on that.
Yeah, like I was mentioning, all these things stems from the period of colonization.
Okay.
Right? When
I mean, you go too far. I'm talking
no,
about
this
But it's all
matters.
tied.
It's all
Okay.
tied.
It's all
because,
tied. Yeah.
you know, because okay, so like for example, Tanzania after colonization, right? You had Julius Nyerere, who was sort of a socialist, right? And he kind of embraced a one Tanzania. Like compared to Kenya, Tanzania has how many tribes? Over 100 tribes, right?
123.
123 tribes. Okay. Compared to Kenya, I don't know the ins and outs, but the font that I know about Tanzania, it's not as tribal as Kenya.
So,
number one.
Yeah.
So when Jomo Kenyatta became president, he was with Oginga Odinga, right?
As the deputy, as the vice president.
Jaramogi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jaramogi Odinga.
Jaramogi Odinga. So one of so Jomo Kenyatta was more aligned with like the West and the Brits, and then there was a time Jaramogi Odinga was like sort of like towards the
leaning east,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when the West found out about this, right, and because there's a CIA declassified documents of 2008 that show that the CIA started investigating Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and started to collaborate with Kenyatta. And then they split. So when they split, it's like sasa jua wame break up, inamaanisha tribes zime break up.
Okay.
Unaona? And then now, remember, Kenya has a history of shareholding in terms of when this person comes to power, he brings his people. This person comes to power, he brings his people. So that has been how the Kenyan politics has been played.
I think, Val, one significant difference that maybe sometimes someone looking from outside, like for example at Tanzania, may not appreciate is that Kenya was a settler colony.
Yeah.
And settler colonies were organized very differently by white people. So you see, because the white people wanted to take the best lands, they created a zone for themselves, and then they separated people in what's called reserves. You know, people, you know, like zamani watu walikuwa wanasema nenda reserve. So these reserves that Indians have here, that's what they came and implemented in Kenya.
Yeah.
So remember, Tanzania did not have Bandio. When did Tanzania eventually get a national ID? Because Tanzania for a long time did not have a national ID. Hii kitambulisho. It's fairly recent.
Yes.
So Kenya,
I mean, some people still don't have it. I think it's still in the process.
Yes, it's still in the process, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Kenya, hii system inaitwa kipande. Ilitoka time ya ukoloni.
I think
ilikuwa ni lazima uwe nayo shingoni. You had to have it. So they were already separating people by tribe. So wangeenda in a certain community kama kwa Wakikuyu, watenda kwa Wakikuyu wako na mfumo wao wa uongozi, and they have their own systems of selecting their leaders. Then they would disrupt that. They would get, you know, like people who are not necessarily respected in the community and make them the heads of that community.
Okay.
So now people, these communities, even the neighboring communities, they were living alongside each other in harmony. But what ended up happening, they started organizing them by tribe. So some of the tribes you know today in Kenya, like Luhya is a colonial construct. It's a total colonial construct. You know, like they were in separate groups: Bukusu, Tiriki, Maragoli, but they're all lumped together. These people speak even different languages. Same with Mijikenda. Where did Mijikenda come from? Colonial construct. Haikwako, you know, like there's different groups: the Giriamas, the Digos. So there's some groups that were separated. And then there's some groups that were kind of put together. So that organization of our politics in terms of tribe and even representation, Wazungu, when they had that legislative council called EGH, they'd be like, bring your people here to represent your tribes. So that's what started. So when the Wazungus left, they left that system of organizing politics by tribe. Okay. And unfortunately, ikaendelea mpaka pali tumefika, you know, like when succession ya Kenyatta with President Moi, tribalism iliingia pia, and until sasa the 1982
it was basically a shift, you know. Yes. You shifted from the Kikuyu kingpins to the Kalenjin kingpins,
Yes.
and then you noticed that everybody who was Kikuyu was swept out of power, and the Kalenjins came and took over.
So
and then
Wakikuyu
realize
wote waliondolewa.
this is a new regime.
Yeah.
Okay, mpaka hapo nimeelewa.
So
my question is,
that's what has got us to where we are now,
right
because
okay.
no one has shared that ukoloni thing, and the only people who are trying to shed it now, as we see, ni Gen Z.
And that's why when we call out,
That's
yeah, we
okay.
call out.
So let's get to this. Is why I was asking: is there a checklist? I mean, you know the problem, because what I'm saying is, especially when I hear I follow Gen Z and all this stuff, but what I'm hearing now is just like, unajua mti ukianza kukauka, mti ukikosa maji, sehemu ya kwanza utajua kwamba mti hauna maji ni kwenye majani.
Correct.
Ukitaka kutatua tatizo haumwagilii majani, unamwagilia mzizi.
Correct.
And that's happened, ndio maana sioni tatizo. Yani hizi actions zote, one time this sioni ikisolve what you just said. Okay, sioni layout ya kusema kwamba we're going to solve this. Okay, we want to be tribalist and we're going to solve what happened since colonialism, and this is how we're going to, right? Because I can almost guarantee Gen Z, as powerful as they are, wakiweka checklist, either Ruto will abide to it, or somebody else will come with the promise of doing it, okay? Or at least watakuwa na something ambayo mtu akiingia in few years, just like RIGGY-G said, kwamba we know for sure, hata nikiingia madarakani, if I don't do what they want, remember what you say?
Yeah.
And then watakuja after me. And that's what you need to do. Kwamba you still can force somebody to change, knowing that there is immediate consequences if you keep doing business as usual. So this is not about just picking somebody who's never been in the government before. No, it's just making sure you set the system that everybody can follow instead of what they're running now with the shit steam.
And that's, sorry to interrupt you, and that is what we're doing by having this conversation. We've begun the work, calling out these people when we see them using those tactics.
Should we expect those kind of...
I mean, you remember since last year, Gen Zs were going to the church, taking those microphones, saying politicians cannot speak in church. The process has begun, educating each other.
Now
we don't have like we are saying okay, the checklist is last year during the protest, right? We said don't reshuffle, remove the whole cabinet. What we listened to? Nothing. Ruto didn't do anything. We said we want.
He did.
He reshuffled, but we said we wanted.
He got rid of them, but
and then brought them back.
But then he brought them back. Yes.
Yeah.
But there was a list. There was a list of 13. I think it was 13 demands. There was a list of actually 13 demands last year. I don't know what the list was.
So these checklists have been there.
Yeah.
And then who has it?
And part of the checklist, you know, like, because I've been paying attention to what a lot of the Gen Zs have been saying, is follow the law. You know, like Akuna Mambo, you're calling people for a conclave, yet there's been multiple conclaves that have been had, from Lancaster to the conclave that led to the current constitution that we have. So Gen Zs are just saying, basically, whatever you're asking us, just look at this is what the constitution is telling you to do. So please go and do this. Now, unajua, part of the problem of you know, like trying to tell Gen Zs, come up with your leaders, bring them to State House. The reason why Gen Zs are wary of that is because this will be a trap. Those are the people who will be abducted. Those are the people who will be killed.
And
Okay, so let me
some
ask,
of them will be bought or manipulated.
Again, naongea kama mtu kutoka nje, without leadership. Because I think one thing I would say, if somebody say advise these Gen Zs, I say you can stay fearless, stay tribalist, but you need a leader. Because hata mkisema kwamba this is the checklist, who will present if you're leaderless?
So I think it will be prudent to let the leaders come up organically and not necessarily say Morara Kebaso or Samuel Makaure is our leader, because look at what has happened.
And I'm not saying this is the way they should get one, but I know for sure that at one point, for them to push the agenda,
yes,
there need to be someone to say we're going to send it, because it's almost impossible to have all Gen Zs.
So I think organically how this can happen, this by-elections coming up, this will be a good test to see what Gen Z can get on the ballot and win. And that's an organic leader who came up from who was chosen by the people. He's not a self-appointed leader. Because right now the problem is there are so many leaders within this movement, but then ni nani amekuchagua, and you've seen that problem come up. So if they come up organically, the same way a crop of leaders came during Sabasaba, like they went to parliament and they got voted for, and Uno-Mike has something to say.
No, I wanted to say also another problem is this. Once you identify a so-called leader, or let's say tuseme tuchague VAL atongoze, there is the fear of her being approached and being bought, as we have clearly seen with to come in, and there's the fear of being what is the word? Being I'm gonna, for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say you're bought. That means you become compromised, because once they identify who the supposed leader is, allegedly, if there is one, then you become like 𝒃𝒐𝒕𝒉. Back to you.
So yes, so I think like that's part of like of the problem that has been happening and that has been experienced. And again, I want to remind the listeners, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. A couple of comments were coming in here. So Mwaura Moroki says, well said, Mr. Thomas Mwaura. Washeke says, please, we can't forget he deported a Kenyan citizen. That's Fred MATIANG'I. And then Penny Ongwenyi Karibu Sana anasema sasa, is he telling us to stop speaking our mother tongue? So we forgot about speaking our tribal languages. I don't support that. Reminds me of the disc in primary school. Italians in Italy are speaking Italian. Sasa sisi, they want us to be tribeless. Val, I want you to.
I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. Nobody is saying do not speak your tribe. Nobody is saying do not embrace your tribe. I'm Kikuyu. I love 𝒂𝘍𝑒𝑚𝑖. I love 𝒂𝒦𝘍𝑒𝘍. I love those things. What we are saying is let's not be divided by tribal politics to choose people. Si tulichoose, Wakikuyu walichoose Ruto juu aliambiwa na Gachagua. It's not because Kikuyu's not as a mlima, or not. I'm using Kikuyu because I'm from Kikuyu. Not because we thought independently, let's vote for someone else. It's because this was fronted to us. This is the person who was given to us, and that's how we voted. No, but it's really like embrace your tribe, but know when it can be even good things can be used to be toxic.
Yeah, I agree.
And that is what that's why we are saying we are saying we are tribeless in terms of we want to vote for leaders who have value. If I was given let's say Muturi is not here, but Muturi would have, Muturi and Omosh. And I know Omosh has a track record of, when he was in the Ministry of Health, it was easy to get healthcare. The hospitals had medication, the doctors were paid. And then Muturi pole kama uko online.
That's okay, that's how he is.
And then
he's normally like that. In fact, the things you're going to say, describe him. Go ahead.
And then Muturi is just, he's been looting.
Right?
He's been looting. He has corruption cases. But now I've been presented with two options, but because I'm Kikuyu, I say sezi votie Omosh, acha ni votie mtu wetu.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
And that's what happens when we have people who can really do something, but we are so blinded by the narrative of tribe. And that is what I'm saying. Nobody is saying do not speak your language.
Yes.
Nobody is saying do not embrace your tribe.
Yeah.
Nobody is saying
you are the last
don't
party.
Be around your community. All we are saying is don't allow leaders to take advantage of the tribe to perpetuate tribal politics for their gain, because it's not for our gain.
We're going to pick the call soon,
Yes.
but I think you can remember. Let me remind the crew here. At one point, maybe 6, 7. I mean, you guys have been here for 10 years. In this very
Kilimanjaro, yes.
Yes,
we've been here 10 years.
10 years.
We need pay. Somebody needs to pay us.
I think there was a time we were talking about easy local churches.
Yes.
And I was the first one to say, I wish na sisi tungekuwa nazo. The issue is not about people being able to worship katika lugha yao. Is what they are saying wanapokuwa pale. It's just as much as we want to have the show about Kenyan politics. Somebody anaweza kusema kwamba nyinyi ni inajua nationalist, mnataka tu kuzungumza mambo ya Kenya, unajua. But what is it for? You know, I love my swan, mimi naongea Kihaya, you know, all this stuff. It's just doing the right thing at the wrong place. You know, it's the where that matters, right? Mimi siwezi nikatoka hapa nikachukua watoto nimeenda sehemu and then there's everybody ambaye anazungumza Kiswahili. Alafu naanza kuongea, unajua, unaanza kuongea kilugha. I was disturbed kwanza kuona ile nafikiri alikuwa ni
MC.
Acha MC kwanza. Niliona clip moja airport wakati mheshimiwa ameshuka. Alafu nyimbo zote yani ameland, alafu unajua
when he was spokead in Baltimore.
Yeah, alafu clip imesema kwamba ametua kuongea na diaspora Marekani. Alafu nasikia nyimbo zote zinaimbwa ni nyimbo za kilugha. Unajua So I don't have problem kama tuna like hapa sisi kuna events za Wakuria wanaita Kichuri.
Yeah.
Unakwenda kwenye event ambayo ni Kichuri, that's why I was asking nani ameandaa event. Ukienda kwenye event ya Kichuri alafu nikafika nikakuta wanaongea Kiingereza, I have a problem with that. Kwa sababu ni event ya kilugha. Nikifika nikakuta wanaongea Kiingereza, I'll have a problem with that. Lakini kama nitakwenda kwenye event ya
you're branding it as Kenyan.
Yes. Yeah. Alafu kaanza kuongea kilugha, I have a problem with that. So I think the main issue is finding people trying to be sensational and emotional. They're doing the wrong thing at the wrong place.
And that's why, you know, like to my Kikuyu brothers and sisters, tuenda kwa simu. But to my Kikuyu brothers and sisters, you know, like no one is saying do not speak your language. But then when you have an event that you're branding as Kenyan, you see like that other event that was in Seattle,
Ngemi, that is okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was branded as a Kikuyu event. That's okay.
And we had that conversation.
Yes, and we had that conversation. That's okay. But then when an event is branded Kenyan, you know, like the flyers in English, all the announcements are in English, and then all of a sudden when you get to the event, you're finding something different. I think right there, that is problematic, and I think that's where people need to start looking at and reviewing. If you're gonna brand an event as Kenyan, make it a Kenyan event.
Okay,
make people feel comfortable. Let's go to the phone.
9340.
Caller, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is again Moran.
Okay. Yes. You said there was something you wanted to correct.
Yes, there's something I needed to correct. One of them is that when you talk about, I think Val said that if this guy, Dr. MATIANG'I pushed the BIMA number and tried to get everybody to have a BIMA number. In the United States, you cannot get service without the Social Security number. You can't. There has to be a number, particular number, not an ID. We all have IDs. I have a driving license. But if I went to the NVA to get a driving license, for example, they want my Social Security number. That was taking the country in the right direction. You know, that was important. I needed to correct that because I thought that was erroneous. You cannot blame somebody for trying to.
But huduma number ends up being a scam.
But I wanna push back kidogo, Baba Maura. I wanna push back kidogo because in Kenya, Kenyans already have, because Social Security number is the number that's used, you know, like to file your taxes, and it's used for so many other things. So Kenyans already have a PIN number.
KRA.
Kenyans already have a KRA PIN number. So I think that's where
PIN number.
Yeah. Yes, the PIN number is equivalent to the Social Security number. So that's why, you know, like this thing for huduma number, there was no clarity on it, Baba Maura.
Okay. When did the PIN number? When was it implemented? Really?
PIN numbers have been around for a while.
PIN numbers been around for a while.
They've been around for a while. I remember.
I got mine in 2013 or 14.
Yeah, because I got mine around the same time. You know, like when I was buying
land. As long as you're buying land, you have to have that.
As long as you're paying taxes.
Yeah, there was something I was.
As long as you're paying taxes, you have to have a KRA PIN number. So everyone has it, Baba Maura.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also.
I have a KRA number actually.
Yes.
I have a KRA number. So let's move from that for a minute. When it comes to tribes, I know you've spent a lot of time on tribes. This is what I'll say. Like 𝑘𝒆'𝑎𝑃𝒔 and Ali Mazrui said, the issue in Kenya is not so much tribes, it's economic. And the way it works is this. The people are told, when they were doing 41 versus 1, people are told that the people from Mount Kenya benefited. It's like we were given money, and that's why people from other places are not doing well. But if we are all doing well, let's say that the economy is good, that we're all doing well, the Luos are able to do well, the Kikuyu are able to do well, these issues you see would not be as big as they are, because the politicians would not have a path to be able to pour oil on, to flame these things, to flame these differences, to bring up these differences. So if you look, many countries were colonized. For example, Singapore was colonized. But the reason why you don't hear noise in that Singapore is because resources are equitably divided and people are doing well. You know, the moment United States starts having problems, for example, when I came to this country, there was an issue, there was an economic downturn. And the white people are told it's because of black people. Now today they are told it's because of immigrants. Many of these things are economic in nature, you know. And while we are talking about tribes are not going anywhere. What we need to do is to empower our people to make sure that their lives are improved, so that if a president came today and improved the lives of Kenyans, he's not greedy, improve the lives of Kenyans, so that a law in Nyando and that other person in Coast finds that they are living well, they will vote for that guy again and again and again, regardless of what their kingman tells them. So it's very economic in nature. And the only way we're going to get out of these tribal businesses is if we uplift everybody. The president that will come in and manage to do a Traore thing, or whatever he's going to do, the importance of tribe will dissipate.
Can I push back a little bit? I hear what you're saying and you're right. But to get that leader, how are we going to vote for him? Because that's the problem. We vote on a tribal basis. So they can be, maybe Matiang'i can, I'm not saying, maybe Matiang'i can be the best leader, right? And he can make the best president. You know,
I love that.
You can't blame him. That's his candidate, right? So, you know, let's say Matiang'i, Matiang'i is the best leader, right? And hypothetically, he's the man for the job. But then there's someone somewhere who will be, let's say, let me use my, oh my God.
Muturi.
Let me use Muturi.
Use Muturi.
But now Muturi is presented with the option of Matiang'i, and then is presented with the option of Mtuang, someone from his community.
RIGGY-G.
Okay, RIGGY-G, right? Instead of Muturi picking Matiang'i because Matiang'i is doing all these good things and Matiang'i can uplift the economy, Muturi decides to vote for RIGGY-G.
Because alisema one term.
Alisema one term. Alisema mtu wetu. So that is the problem we have. And that's why we are trying to educate, like what Gen Zs are doing with civil education, trying to teach that tribal, like what the political class is doing is during elections, they use tribe to get in. Then they forget
about
keyword during election. That's what I was about to ask. Because I don't hear the best way or the best time to get solution to what Kenya is facing right now is not during campaigning. You know,
no, it's not.
I wish we were having all these civic education, all these programs and stuff when the dust is a little bit settled. But at this point, emotions runs high.
Correct.
You know, and it's hard to tell anybody. Pretty much like they say, people now don't listen to you to get a second, another opinion. They listen to you to verify. You know, some people, they won't even listen to you, right? They just want to verify their biases. And that's the biggest issue I'm having. It's like, when should we start teaching people about this? It's like,
but now is the right time.
Sana kumwambia mtu, hey, inabidi ule vegetables na yuko kwenye dime bed.
No, but now is the right time. We don't have an election. You know, we're acting like Kenya is having an election tomorrow. We're like 2 years away.
But people are sort of campaigning.
Guys have been on campaign mode since last year.
But us, that's what we are doing. We are doing civil education. For example, with the 625 movement, right? Every other Sunday, I mean, this month, since the Matiang'i event, we haven't done it because we were attending that. We meet online and do someone has to present a PowerPoint and we teach each other stuff, right? Could be the Kapenguria 6.
Thank you for that.
Like that. On top of that, we have a series coming at the Sankofa, right?
Yes.
This Sunday, 7 p.m. The series is called The Politics of Kenya. We're going to talk about the colonization of Kenya. Okay. It's going to be a 3-part series.
Featuring Ali Badawi.
Yes. And then we're going to talk about
That's discreet,
independence
though,
and the Kenya, the Kenya now, right? And then let's talk about Masita Rus before she disappeared. The Kenya Ni Home.
Yes, the
She was-
Kenya Ni Home campaign.
The Kenya Ni Home campaign, where they were going and talking to people and educating them. Then we have Morara Kebaso. He did the Vampire Diaries, talking to people about the leaders and how they are looting. But Kenyans are so focused on Ruto that they don't see that other leaders are also part of the problem.
Okay.
Not all Kenyans, but some. And
But-
then another person, when you go to TikTok, you'll find Gen Zs educating themselves. Remember the finance bill? People literally educated themselves on the finance bill. So this is things we are doing, but things are moving so.
Let me.
But I
so
think
fast.
for Bandio to understand, Mike, before I come to you, for Bandio to understand, unaona vile wewe unashabikia Kagera Sugar kwa sababu ndo timu ambayo labda iko karibu na kwenyu. That is how Kenyan politics is.
But no,
as in
listen,
people don't care.
Ukienda kwa watu wa Kagera Sugar,
Yeah.
wanafikiri mimi ndio ni critic mkubwa wa ile team. And
Ndio
that's
hivyo
the
sasa,
difference. Kwamba
yeah.
I love the team,
Yeah.
lakini siwezi nikaacha wakaendelea kufanya upuuzi.
Oh,
Kwa hiyo
kwa
actually
hivyo,
mimi
ni kweli,
naonekana kuwa negative sana kuhusu team. Even though watu wa nje.
Lakini hauvuki ukaingia Simba ama Yanga.
Yeah.
Wewe bado ni mshabiki wa Kagera Sugar.
Yes, nabaki pale na fix.
So that's how Kenyan politics is. So kama wewe ni mtu wa kabila langu, hakuna kusonga huko kwingine. Yani kama ni mtu wa kabila langu, hata kama ni mwizi, kama ni mwizi ni mwizi wetu. Kama ni mnyang'anyi ni mnyang'anyi wetu.
No, but the difference is Kagera Sugar anapofungwa na Simba
Yeah.
na Yanga kwa sababu ya poor performance, I will call it out. Okay?
But, yes.
So that's the difference. Sio kwamba ndasema kwamba wametufunga, but no. I will call it out.
Can I say something?
You will call it out,
Yes.
but you're not gonna cross over next week and say, I'm now a Simba fan.
guy.
And a Yanga fan. So that's how Kenyan politics is structured. Hata huyo mtu wa
Except
huko
Gen
Murima.
Zs.
Sasa Gen Z ndo wanajaribu kubadilisha.
Tuna call it out
But sasa,
na tunahama.
huyo mtu wa Murima ata complain about Uhuru, ata complain about Rigathi, lakini ikifika siku ya kura bado atapigia
You know
kura.
exactly where you vote.
Yeah, you
And
know
that's why
what
That's
there's
why they
this-
say your name. What
And
do they
that's
say?
why
Your name determines.
And that's why there are
Betrays you.
people,
Betrays
there are
you, yeah.
people in Mulima, not everyone, who feel I have betrayed the tribe.
Yes.
Her name is not betraying her.
You know, they're calling me Gakonia. Gakonia. You know
Got
who
that.
Gakonia is?
What is that?
Gakonia
Oh, no.
is
What's that?
someone, so during the British time, the people who were selling out the Mau Mau, the British would give them a sack and they would go and point out the Mau Mau. So pretty much to some people's eyes, me and Kimani Ichung'wah are the same.
Wow. Okay, that is
you know-
not good.
That is not
that
good.
is not
And
good.
that's why I'm
All
saying
right.
this
Yeah.
thing is, this political tribalism is deep. That's why
Nataka
even
turudi
if
kwenye-
I
kwenye town halls.
explain how much, one second. That's why even if I explain that it's not good to speak Kikuyu in a setting with all Kenyans, people don't see that. They only hear, saa tufai kuongea lugha yetu.
Yes, that's what they
No,
hear.
it's deep. When I
Yeah.
tell you tribalism is rootly, now I'm starting to understand how deep this thing is. And it's
Have you you know, as you speak, and I'm just seeing it, I'm like, have you had this conversation with your parents?
of how deep this is.
The tribalism part. I just, because, you know, maybe if they explain it from how they understand it or what they've been under, and then you compare it with yours, you're like, now it even makes sense. Because how we understand it and what we have lived through, we get it. We see it, we get it. And at some point, it's almost like the way we were taught politics is you don't talk
through
about
tribe.
it. You don't talk about it. You don't say anything. And if you have an opposition, you also didn't come out and say anything. Unanyamaza tu. Now, maybe at the point in time, sazili unaenda kuvote, that's when you go and you vote. But then again, even that voting was so entrenched in you that you voted on a certain line. And your line was hapo kwa tribe. You didn't veer.
Okay, let me read some comments here before we go back to town halls discussion, because I want us to talk about these town halls that we have and whether they benefit us in the diaspora or we're just
And
there.
we have
I
quite,
wanna
we have
hear
quite a bit, we have
takeaways.
quite a bit on YouTube.
Yes. So let me first read the Facebook ones. I'm going to come to YouTube. We have Washeke says, I feel like people are being disingenuous by claiming VAL is telling people not to speak their language or embrace their ethnicity. That's Washeke. And then Hab is saying, what's the obsession with knowing who is the leader of Gen Z, if not the intent to identify and compromise the movement is for change.
So I think that's directed to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. The intent is, it's not really about to know, but what is going to present, or who's going to present, what will be presented. Mwisho wa siku, I'm not expecting 100 or 100,000 Gen Zs waende nje ya bunge, right? So somehow, you know, they've started doing this stuff. Somebody must be maybe compiling what we're doing, all this stuff. This is what we want. This is why Kenya, you know, needs to move to this direction. These are the stuff that will put it where we want to be. There's going to be, quote unquote, roadmap, right? Then nani ata present your roadmap? Whether ni kwenye bunge, whether, and I don't mean kwamba lazima wakae wachague. But at the end of the day, they're going to be somebody ambaye ataweka ile roadmap pale mbele. Ataweka hata kama nikusema kwamba these are our checklist. This is what Gen Zs want. Whether it's compiled all over the country.
Online.
Now, when these leaders come up organically, when they
and
come up
I'm not
organically,
into how they get them.
Yes.
But all I'm saying is whether it's organically by AI, however, like in somehow itafika stage, they will need somebody ambaye atawakilisha na kuwasilisha mawazo na matakwa, because they sio tu wana mawazo, wana matakwa. This is what we want kwa Kenya kuendelea.
Okay.
Right? And they've been brave enough, fearless kusema kwamba we want this and this and this and this. Je, itafika stage ambayo mtu atasikiza every Gen Z in Kenya?
I mean, I've seen Gen Zs, some of them. I think this one was from Nakuru, and he was very bold. I don't remember. Mwenye alikuwa anasema kazi yetu si kupenda rais, hiyo ni kazi ya familia yake. Tunachukia rais. That guy is running. He said he's running for MP in his hometown, right? If I have him right. So, and then there's another group. So there's a few groups here and there. We are organizing ourselves. We are figuring it out.
And that's my point. When I'm talking about leadership, it's just having organization.
Yeah, we are doing it.
Kwa hiyo huyu anayeuliza whatever the obsession, that's where it is. It's just
no,
that,
it's a valid
good
question.
intention wako nayo iweze kuwa pushed through a certain channel. Unajua?
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure watu wanasema kwamba yes, Ruto anaweza kaua akafanya hivi, but imagine waende na Gen Z, let's say 10, wengine wako nje wanasema kwamba this is message to you Mr. President. Unafikiri kuna kitu atafanya mle ndani? Nothing. Hawezi akafanya. Kwa hiyo hawezi kuingia watu wote 100,000 au 10,000 au 1,000,000 wakaingia ikulu kwenda kumwambia Ruto this is what we want. Wanaweza wakawa na watu 5 wamepeleka message, wengine watu wako pale nje. Nao watu wakaambia in 30 minutes tutakuja kucheck kuhakikisha kwamba you still alive. Unafikiri atafanya nini?
No, so hao watu 5 wakiondoka baadaye, not the same day, within a week watapotezwa. That's what's been happening.
They'll be disappeared.
That's what's been happening, unfortunately, Bandio. Hiyo ndo hali ambayo iliyoko Kenya. So you will be disappeared na watu hawatajua uko wapi. You know, there are people who've disappeared, they've not been on the media, na wamepotea wakapotea.
It's everywhere. Tanzania si wapo.
𝑘𝒆𝒏𝒕, if that's a word. You remember 𝑘𝒆𝒏𝒕?
Yeah, 𝑘𝒆𝒏𝒕.
And then they dig up all his corruption issues.
Yes.
And then they silence you.
Ama kama Morara wamemtumia KRA. They've sent the Kenya Revenue Authority against Morara.
And so, you know, msifikiri kwamba iko so special kwa Kenya. Ukijua kinachoendelea Tanzania, you know.
Lakini wa Tanzania wako sawa.
Yenyu ni
watu wanatiki. Watu wanatiki.
Yenyu ni special.
Hawako sawa, but that's story for another day. Natamani tuone either kwenye comments au tuone. Mimi ningetamani kupata take away.
Let me finish the comment. Hapa Washeke alikuwa anasema, if you brand an event a Kenyan event, speak the national language. In addition, please be mindful that not all Kenyans are Christians, so having praise and worship in such events is problematic. Wow. You know, like I usually try not to be the one to say this,
but I say it over and over again.
Yeah, I usually try not to, because Kenya is notoriously guilty for this. There's no consideration. There's no, and a lot of times
hata kwenye media asubuhi kuna kile kipindi cha whatever unasikiza national TV,
yeah,
na wanaamka na sijui amka na bwana
na sasa unaona a lot of times and I know some people actually have good intent, wananipigia wananiambia Ali, njoo either utoe dua ama utuletee mtu asome dua, but then now you see the problem is that we also do not want to appear as people who are checking a box. Because there are some cases where people want to say to check a box. Tulikuwa na Muislamu pale alienda akasoma dua. So a lot of, Muslim leaders, imams, ulamas, they will not agree to that.
What needs to be done for you to know that it's not checking a box?
What needs to be done, if it's a national event, it should not again be branded as a Christian event. If made a Kenyan event, it should not be branded as a Christian event.
But you're saying it's branded as a Christian event via action.
Just
it's praise and worship songs
via action.
I see. So kale ka maombi ka kufunga na kufungua, that's not a big deal. But then mnaleta mapasta. This is a national event.
Yeah.
Mnaleta mapasta. And those are the ones who are headlining the event. So that's why, a lot of times people ask me, mbona watu wenyu wapendi kuja katika hizi mikutano?
But you're looking at it from the event perspective. Mimi wanaangalia from the committee. Because committee is the one that plans, right?
The committee plans.
Ukiwa mna balance nzuri ya gender, mna balance ya, mkiwa diversified enough, these are the stuff ya kuplan. Kusema, we can have present worship, let's do this. Or tuwe na dua, na mkiwa na dua mnaangalia pia. Kwa hiyo tutakuwa tuna shekhe, tuna pastor, tuna rabbi, tuna hivi, tuna hivi.
So let me tell you, Kenyans are very blind on that. Like, they don't know what they don't know. Katika hizo, hata utashtuka ukileta, unaona hii swali ambayo washeke ameleta, watu watashtuka, kwani wewe upendi mambo ya Mungu? Watu wataku
mimi nimeshasema hata kwenye show, nilikuwa ninajiuliza kwa nini naangalia National TV at 5 to 6 and it's just praise and worship. Alafu baadaye mnaanza na taarifa habari. Na sio religious channel.
Wewe umeangalia TV Jumapili?
Oh yeah.
Umeangalia TV Kenya Jumapili?
Sundays, it's always.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about Sundays. Vipindi vya radio. Mimi nasikiliza vipindi vya radio sasa hivi tukitoka hapa kabla ya between 4 to 6 a.m. Kenya.
Yeah.
Radio nyingi nasikiliza.
And here, for the people who are maybe uncomfortable with this fact, like in a legit census, Kenya is between 25 to 30% Muslim. Whether you like it or not, ni sisi ndo tuko. And that's one thing that I think there's been difficult. Even that's why when these stories of President anataka kujenga kanisa pale katika Ikulu, we're like, come on, son. What exactly?
No, but they have a prayer room for Muslims over there.
Prayer rooms.
What's the big deal about building a church?
No, there's no problems. There's never been problems about prayer rooms. There's always prayer rooms. In spaces, in places. But the problem is kuana building an actual structure, state house. Whereby mnasema mnataka iwe ni nyumba ibada. But anyway, we're deviating away from the topic. So I think also there's Jacob Korir here. Anasema, for politics, timing is everything. I support Gen Z remaining a mass movement and revealing leaders at the right time. They are playing a higher level than partisan and non-tribal. That's a level we have never experienced. That's why the current crop of politicians can't understand. Na bado it's gonna get better and bigger AI facilitated campaign that we'll know when that time comes. Kulikuwa na comments nyingi sana hapa pia on YouTube. I don't know whether I can go through all of them. Try. So hapa Pablo anasema, another question for Miss Val, what role does she see herself within the Gen Z leadership selection movement for a leader with a national outlook? And then Pablo pia anamuuliza OneMic, a leader can be bought or compromised, ni bure kabisa. A true leader will stand by principles. And then hapa Pablo bado anasema, just to follow up on the looting Muturi point, doesn't a political track record also mean that someone can do many good things, but one wrong move ends up defining them unfairly? And then up I have Brian Soy saying, what people are not understanding is that we just want systems to work. We have systems, but the systems are manipulated. And then up we have Hanigal Njeri, that's Tabitha, anasema, I think that older generations need to stop rushing the Gen Z and choose to lean back and learn from the youth. Presidential elections are not for 2 years, Let's stop rushing them. I agree with Tabitha Nasema. We are trying to run the Gen Z movement the way we would have run it. Our ways have failed. Perhaps the Gen Z approach might be what changes things eventually. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Mike, we have to move because time in hand. We have to move now to the other parts. But go ahead, 1 minute, and then to proceed.
No, I was going to say, pertaining to that, getting a good leader. I think Makueni County had one of the best governors for a while, and when he went to run for Senate, he was not even chaguliwa.
He was defeated. Yeah,
he was not even selected. He was defeated. A guy who actually had propped up Makueni County, a guy who was performing very well. I think my other point also was, and I think it's either Ali or Bandit who mentioned. I think the issue right now, the most important issue is following the Constitution, because the Constitution is, and I think Ali has mentioned this, and I've started seeing, because it is the most progressive. It's one of the most progressive. It is one of the most, it doesn't need any. It doesn't actually. What needs to happen is you just need to execute what is currently on it, and things will actually work. Right? When you have a president who is ignoring court orders, even the previous regime, the previous, like in UK, MATIANG'I, ignoring court orders, but the Constitution is there. All we have to do is, Kwanzaa, we start with following and implementing the Constitution. Period.
Yes.
Over to you.
Yes, and I agree with Mike. I think this point is being dismissed as a minor issue, but that is the root cause of all the problems we have. All this odious debt that we have is because the law is not being followed. We are given a loan. So imagine, Bandio, umepokea loan, tuseme umepokea loan $10,000. And then this loan came to my account. But after a while, Capital One wanakutumia payment plan ya $10,000 loan that never made it to your account. It got to my account, mimi nilitumia pesa, but the debt is coming to you. So that's what's happening in Kenya. 12 trillion in debt. Out of that 12 trillion, 6 trillion is odious, meaning it never made it to the consolidated fund. And that's part of what Omtata has been talking about and what he's trying to solve.
And 𝑗immy too.
And 𝑗immy. Mozambique was able to win a case. Because once you go to court and you win that case, so if it's JP Morgan who issued that loan, and then now we're saying we never received it, so it will be JP Morgan's, the court will tell JP Morgan
to prove that
whoever you gave that money to, go back and check and go follow that person who you gave the money to. Okay. So that will be one big area, because one of the biggest problems is that we have 2.something trillion in national revenue. I think close to half of it, if not more, is going towards paying debt.
Odious debt. And Ali, to back up your point, part of the People's Kamkunji, that I can't remember that gentleman's name. He actually was making rounds on social media. He was educating people about the consolidated fund and how it's supposed to happen.
Yes.
And what it's supposed to be used for.
Yes.
And that is also so young people are teaching young people, by the same time, they're teaching millennials how the Constitution works. Because once you understand how what money is borrowed for is used for, once you understand that, then you'll start seeing that, say, Ruto and them, and even UK, the way they borrowed, walikuwa wanatupeleka mrama.
Yes. Okay. All right. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Val, I want to come back to you. It was clear your videos became the headlines of the 2 town halls in Baltimore. And I'd say, like in all town halls in the US, because you're not seeing, those are the 2 videos that are rotating the most. Do you feel like diaspora issues were covered in these events? And if yes, what exactly was addressed? Because that's the other part that also we are not talking about. What diaspora issues were covered in these events?
So, first of all, what are the diaspora issues, right?
Good question. Does diaspora know their own issues? So that's another good question that I think that we internally have to decide what our issues were. And what my controversial answer to that question is, majority of the diasporans, they don't know what their issues are.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why...
Or have never thought of it.
Or have never thought of it. And that's the reason why they are very comfortable going to cheerlead.
And not vote.
A politician. And not even necessarily register to vote or not do anything. Yeah. And I think that is a big part of the problem, because this is a question that I've been talking about, and I keep, just go ask a random diasporan, you know, like, what is your issue? Okay, of course there's the issue of diaspora voting. Clearly, majority of people did not register to vote.
If you can remember, during the Matiang'I event, I was like, we can't be giving politicians money, and because the diaspora doesn't vote. Our power is money, is economic power, right? Where we do the remittances. We see Gachagua is here. Kwani unadhani amekuja tu kuji-advertise? He's also here to get something. He came to
so he had a cash up handle. In fact, I took a picture of it.
But that's nothing. You know, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But what about
and it was
private dinners?
Screen. Yeah.
He had a cash up.
Yeah.
Remember the initial flyer? People were supposed to pay. I think there was a lot of backlash. Then the flyer was changed.
Nagani lukwa, was it 25? No.
No, the one in Lanham. People were supposed to pay. But I think because, yes, the initial flyer, we still have them. We have the receipts. The flyer was changed.
Yeah, because I thought they had that code for those people who want to donate.
So it was changed. The initial one was...
Was that a charge, or they were asking for donation?
So there was two different flyers. So there were two different flyers.
The very first one that we got. I'm not sure if it was you had to pay to enter, or they were asking to contribute.
No, we're gonna check back. We're gonna check back to confirm.
Yeah. So if we're gonna be giving this money to politicians, we need to be asking for things, and this is why I'm saying tunafaa kuwa tunaenda hata Kenyan embassy, tunakaa chini, tunapewa kahawa na juice.
Nani?
Sisi kwa sababu ya venye tunatoanga pesa. The last time I was at that embassy, the photocopy they were using ilikuwa mzee. I was trying to get a passport. They told me I need to send money in Kenya for someone to send to M-Pesa. Sijui huyo mtu sijui tena atume nini. Ndio sasa nipete, you know.
Because of
and that's what I'm saying.
What's system?
E-Citizen.
Yes.
But you can't pay on E-Citizen. At that time, maybe they have changed to kama una M-Pesa.
No, you couldn't pay with the cards because it was failing.
Yeah.
With American cards. So you needed to get somebody in Kenya to pay for you via
So
M-Pesa.
does diaspora know what they want, right?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Voter suppression is real.
But you have diasporas. Actually, you have three of them. Uno, do you know what you want? Embo tuanze now.
You're asking us what
actually four.
You're asking us what we want.
Answer now that you unaonekana kwa kimbelembele. What do you want?
We wanted the voting thing to work. Okay. It's there.
Okay.
I know I participated. There's a lot of people who never participated, never registered.
Is that what you want from
I voted. That's
Wait.
one thing. The other thing was to stop this whole issue of this double taxing.
Okay.
You know, I have income over here. I peleka to Kenya. I'm being taxed about it. And yet I'm still giving you remittances. As well as
now what comment to andike pia.
What's my other issue? My other issue with them is making it easier for those of us who are here and have children who are born here to register our children as Kenyans without having to pay an arm, a leg, a toe, and other, because that's a right that we constitutionally have. However, the fees are so debilitating that you don't get to do it. And then there's some games that they play, depends upon the age of when you register this child. If you make the mistake of registering a child once they are 18, forget it.
Okay, so I didn't hear anything when you two town halls. Yeah. So what about you, Ali?
So maybe my issues are very specific.
Okay.
I want to keep more money in my pocket.
Okay.
And to keep more money in my pocket, most of the money we are sending back home is not going towards investments. Education, healthcare, and household expenses, that takes about between 35 to 40% of the amount that's going back home.
Okay.
So, and the average Kenyan is sending between 5 to 20% of their annual income to Kenya. 40% of it is going to services that the government is supposed to be catering for.
Did you hear any of that solution kwenye his town halls?
Nothing.
No.
All right.
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, they didn't have an agenda. There was no agenda for the.
Yeah,
Una mic,
yeah.
diaspora.
So kabla uno mic, if this money had gone to and it's about $5 billion that goes to Kenya every year. So if you count about 40%, we're talking, like something like is that around 2 million? Yes, that's around $2 million. That's money that we could be investing in something else and creating employment and putting more money in people's pockets rather than sending money for education, for medical care. And this is the problem that has happened, is that over time, because the government has realized, kuna watu diaspora watu watumie hii pesa, the education, the quality has gone down, the amount they want to pay per student, they want to reduce it, and to me, that right there will solve a big part of a lot of diaspora problems. We have Gen Zs who are born to parents who are Gen Zs who are born here. They are complaining. Our parents are constantly sending money to Kenya, yet we are struggling to keep the lights on here. So that's a big thing that I think most diasporans do not know. It's an issue, and they talk about other, like small things here and there.
Ulisikia kwenye town hall?
No, I didn't hear. I didn't hear anyone articulate this.
Okay, Muturi.
I didn't hear anyone articulate this.
Muturi,
who has been affiliated with whatever Val was saying.
Okay, yes.
Muturi nakupenda buru tu.
Corruption, brown envelopes.
Likewise. Here's the thing, and I'm with Ali on this, because there are certain simple things that are just, most of our money goes to medical expenses. Mtu amelazwa hospitali ama amepelekwa sijui private, anaitishwa pesa, kuna x-ray, sijui it costs this much, it costs this much. But yet, people are being deducted. Shift taifa leo. People are being deducted. And some people are volunteering to pay. And when they go to try and get services and matibabu, in fact, they're being told you are short a certain amount. That is one. Elimu. Students, people are not able to go to students. Right now, even teachers are almost on strike. There is money. Apparently, this guy is always talking about vile ana release pesa, but uko shule ziko in debt.
Capitation.
Because they have borrowed from, let's say, Bandio Enterprises on loan. They have gone to Omosh Bank Services. They have borrowed loans so that they can pay Ali, or they can get services and they can get food from Ali. And the capitation has not been sent.
And it was reduced, by the way.
It was reduced. Which means that burden falls on us. And falling on us because of the amount of money that we spend, because we are the ones who are here. So we have to help. And
I ask a question? What if what you guys are looking as issues is not what everybody's looking at them as issues, but only at the diaspora? Because remember,
there is one.
Hold up. Let me finish my question.
I could have finished my point first.
No, swali yangu ni ya point yako,
Okay.
Yeah, because remember when we say that, when we point out that education, schools, basically every bit of the government is paid, right? And it's not something that has started now, it's something that's been continuously going. So what if it's just an issue for the few who understand that if these things are fixed, it's going to help me here with my money, keep more money in my pocket. But we ourselves who are here do support, finance, and endorse these corrupt leaders and actually choose them and teach our people to choose them more. So is it an issue for us if we partake in ensuring they're elected?
Okay, Mika, I haven't quite understood that
yes,
question.
My question is simple.
Yeah.
All of you have complained, have said that you want to keep more money in your pocket. And you've said the reason you're keeping more money in your pocket is because of a failed government services in Kenya. Because of the government support.
That was Ali saying that.
Yes, yeah, but people wamesema shule, and basically all of you concluded that because the things are failed in Kenya is why money is living here. So I'm asking you, is that really an issue if the past 3 governments that have been there have gotten major support from diaspora folk who have actually did fundraising for them, supported and educated their people in electing these people. We've played a hand in getting these 3 past governments elected. So
Okay.
is it really an issue?
Yes.
If we're helping these corrupt people get elected.
So I think here the goal, Mika, is to make people understand it's an issue, because I think the average person doesn't even know that about 40% of the money we send is going towards this. So it's about, letting people know, because I think the issue is that there are people who are disconnected. They come, when they're politicians who are coming because it's a nice social event, and they will meet their fellow tribes people, have a good time, and enjoy. But people are not making this connection. So I think the goal here is to make people understand these connections, because yes, there are a number of Kenyans who are doing well, but there's also a number of Kenyans who want to go further than where they are currently. So it's about making them understand that because of these services not being provided to the level they're supposed to be provided, we are the ones who are suffering. Not saying we don't send our money back home, but we can now send our money back home. Instead of paying fees, we are sending it towards maybe a business that we're investing in that can employ people and help the economy. Amika.
Okay, but back to you. So when you say majority of people don't know that this money is being used there, that is not factual, because
it is.
When
and I'll tell
people
you
send
why.
money, they know they're sending money for upkeep.
I'll tell you why.
Hold up. Let me
Yes.
finish. And majority of upkeep usually wani basic food, healthcare na shule. Like mtu jua niko Amerika nasomesha watu wangu home. Niko Amerika watu wakitaka kulima, mimi ndo natupa pesa ya kununua mbolea na kununua mbegu. Niko Amerika na nima shosho akimeza jembe, mimi ndo natuma pesa peleke hosi. Right? Like basically hakuna mtu tuma pesa tu ya starehe. Its majority is usually upkeep. The rest of the upkeep is investment. Alafu sasa yengine ya jundo na kwangona tumia mtu ile unamshikilia nini. So if you say people don't know that the money they're sending is going to cover for these expenses, that's not factual.
It is factual, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
It is very factual. If you look at the CBK survey, most Kenyans have not looked at it. And I'll tell you because when you engage people, and even myself, I was very shocked also when I got to see these numbers. The amount that goes into investments, commercial, non-real estate investment is only 6%.
That's true.
It's only 6%. It's a very small amount. So this kind of money that's being sent to Kenya, and you can grade from, and this CBK survey, it has some numbers dating many years back. You can see how things have changed in what people are sending money for. Not many people used to send, so money used to be sent for education, but it was a very small amount. Over time, that amount has been going up. So here's an example. When I was in my final year in Lenana School, that final year in Form 4, we paid 40,000 shillings for the whole year. And that was a long, long time ago. Like those of you who know my age, it was a very long time ago. In the late 90s, we paid 40,000 shillings. Right now, the government, today, 27 years later, the government is giving 22,000 shillings to a student, and they want to reduce it down to 16,000. So think about that for a minute. Your 40,000 converted to today's shillings, in terms of account for inflation, it's about 130,000 shillings. So to get that quality of education, you need about 130,000 shillings, but we are at 22. So now what's happening here, Mika, is that most people have now been groomed and accustomed to the idea that wewe diaspora ndo unafaa kuwa unatuma pesa ya masomo na healthcare na
mtungi ya gas
na chakula. And that amount, if you also look at that same CBK survey I'm talking about, it's been increasing per person over the years, meaning we have less money. So people have been accustomed to know that I am the one who's supposed to be providing this service. Yet, the reality that this money is supposed to be coming from the government. That 6 trillion in odious debt is what's supposed to be paying for that money that you're sending for education.
And I agree with that. Mimi point yangu ni simple. Point yangu nimesema ni vile umesema ati watu hawajui hiyo ndo pesa wanatumia. Watu wanajua wanatumia hiyo pesa kulipia.
Mika,
I think ulichokuwa unamaanisha.
Ngoja. The only part where you should have said that most people don't understand that this money they are sending is supposed to be like the cost, whatever they're paying
is
for
not
is
their
supposed to be covered for. It's not their responsibility. But when you say that people don't know that they're sending this money to cover those things, that's not a factual statement.
No, what I said, Mika, listen pia ku understand vile nimesema. What I said people don't know. Ngoja, haujanielewa. What I was saying is that what people don't know is what proportion of diaspora remittances go towards this function. Majority of people do not have these numbers. They do not look at them. And I'm admitting, like I was one of those people. I was very shocked when I came in contact with this survey. And I think once we start sharing this with people is when people are going to understand, Allah, this is what's happening. Because right now, Kenyans are sending about $5 billion a year. That is 5 times the amount, the revenue that comes from Majani Chai, which is one of our biggest earners of foreign exchange.
Okay, kabla hajapoteza track sasa.
Someone asked a question and I want to answer. I think it's
Pablo
Nzeu. Were diaspora issues addressed? There was an issue that kept coming up in the Matiang'I meeting, town hall, and the Gachagua. The issue of Kenyans purchasing land and being duped.
Mafuroti.
Yes, that kept coming up. Was it addressed?
Yeah, that was my question. I mean, it was mentioned or the question was asked, but was it addressed?
I don't think that question is ever going to be addressed.
So now,
with any presidential candidate that's coming in here,
I mean, they did say they
land issues of buying land in Kenya. Land cartels are run by politicians. So again, it stems back to issue that affects masomo, education, healthcare, vile Ali anasema. When corruption is weeded out and everything comes out, then and there's no more land corruption. All these land cartels that steal land are tied to simple politicians. Like you will always find there's a politician name within a land scandal in Kenya. And it's the same people who do the same land scandals. So unless this vitu zinafaa kutoka Kenya, wash, gold scam, wash, mineral scam, and land scam. Once we take those tatu, we will have made a big dent on corruption and allow things to flow. But as long as there's land corruption, no politician that will come here will stop you from being conned when it comes to buying land or buying property.
So Nona, issue of land, for example, one of the reasons why it comes up in a lot of these meetings, but it's never comprehensively addressed, has to do with how these town halls are set up. And I have a very big problem with all the town halls. Mr. Mwaura, what wali organize. Yes, the people who organized yes, the people who organized Gachagwa's event, we need to do these town halls differently. Whatever was being done, and I'm gonna say this in a very polite way.
So let's put a question. What went well and what didn't kwenye town halls? And I'm gonna moja.
So as far as impact is concerned, these town halls, they are more beneficial to those politicians than they are to us in the diaspora. Because if you want to follow up like what was said in Matiang'I's town hall or in Gachagwa's, and is there a point of contact to follow up? There's absolutely nothing. Once event imeisha, imeisha. Like people are gone and that's it. People socialize, they meet, they have a good time, and it's gone. But that part of the problem is because of how these events are set up. So one of the things that could be done differently to help for accountability purposes is when these events are being set up, there needs to be some kind of public participation. So people are very good at reaching people whenever they need money for weddings and whenever they need money for funerals. They know how to reach people widely.
Oh, yeah.
So using that same strategy, have public participation. Like in 3 months, Matiang'I is going to be coming. What exactly do you want? So that there's already input. There's already, things that are coming in from the community before the event is set up. Another thing, there also has to be now. But
I think in Matiang'I they did that. At least we'll open our questions, right?
No, I'm saying before the event, public participation before the event. See, tulijua when we saw the flyer. We knew about the event when we saw the flyer. Or I don't know, kama we bandio, you have inside sources.
No, I'm just saying. I thought somebody stood up and said.
Okay, the Matiang'I compared. If I'm doing comparison, the Matiang'I event was slightly well structured. Was well structured compared to the Gachagua event, and this is why I say so. Hizo Kikuyu gospel azikuimbwa kwa at least me I didn't find them singing that.
No, there was.
They positioned, Matiang'I used a nationalistic language. He kept saying Kenyans, right? The only mistake that the Matiang'I did is, first of all, he came late. It's his town hall. He should not be late. Number two, they asked that people send in their questions.
How late?
On he was late because he got there. They 6.
No, he was late. He was fairly late.
He was fairly late.
Yeah.
And that was
Baka tulizimiwa taa.
I think 2 hours.
It was not 2 hours, but I think at least one hour.
And I don't know if that
half,
was by design or not. I'm just wondering. And because they said to put the questions in a Google form.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen that personally. I've seen that trick in the book back in the day in different situations where people tell you put questions in the Google form. We will ask them on the day of the town hall. They drag and then they won't ask any questions.
And then they'll give 10 minutes for the questions. At the end
so
of
in
the
the
event.
Matiang'I event, they said we have 70. They say 70
Yeah, they
questions,
said 70
but we
questions.
will only ask one. How will you manage the Gen Zs?
So 70 questions were summarized into one.
And for me, it looked like they were trying to, because if it's a town hall, you need to give the candidate a chance to have an interaction to answer those questions. But if you're trying to protect this candidate by shielding him from questions, you're actually making him look worse.
You're doing a disservice.
You're doing a disservice to him.
So I was saying...
And that was another reason why Gen Zs, we were concerned. We were like, if this man doesn't want to be asked questions, if this is the way he's moving...
But you see the problem...
that's dictatorship. Also
the problem is that there was 15,077 people who made submissions before Matiang'I. About things that were unrelated. There were so many people. I even lost count. Before Matiang'I spoke. There were so many, everybody was giving their speech and their story. So I think
he lost me in that before. I was like
there were just so many people. I lost count.
I
lost count of how many people there were. So there were so many people who came before. So, the engagement was given very small time. I think these events should be flipped, whereby 90% of the time should be engagement and maybe 10% should be a chance to the candidate to speak. And how we do that, rather than have an MC.
Define engagement.
Have a moderator.
Okay.
Rather than an MC.
That will make it real town hall.
Yes. Make it a real town hall. Have a moderator rather than an MC. Whereby, there's some questions, maybe those 70 questions, there's a way some of the questions are repeated. There's a way of structuring them. You can reduce them to 10, 15 solid questions to address the questions that came in from people who are not there, who brought them online. And then, even during the event, you can have maybe a certain number, certain key people who will be given the mic to ask questions. And then you also have to give a chance to random people. But this can only happen when there's enough time for engagement. It cannot be the last 20 minutes when wale watu hoteli wamethreaten kuja hapo kuzima lights then hapo ndo mnaanza kuharakisha watu kuuliza maswali. In fact, when Val, you know, like I was seated close to her, when Val was going to ask a question, I mean, I don't know whether the Matiang'i team is listening to this, Baba Mwaura, if you didn't know this.
Bado yupo kwenye line.
Yeah, Baba Mwaura, if you did not know this, there was actually some activity that was happening, and I know this because I've been to a lot of these events. There were people who are trying to block her from asking that question, and I think if she didn't stand up and say that we have to ask this question, and then Matiang'i said, okay, let's ask the question, there were people who are like planning to block her. So I don't know whether it was because they were afraid of the red beret or if it was the t-shirt with a fist. I don't know what it was, but there was an attempt to stop her from asking the question. It could have been time, I don't know.
Those things are always stage managed. They need to stop doing that stage managing stuff.
But sasa ndo nasema,
don't advertise it as such.
Ndo nasema.
No. Yeah, juu imeadvertise your town hall.
Yes.
But lakini imeadvertise your town hall, but we all know in reality, hizi vitu zokuwa more of kind of sort of a meet and greet. And then also we have to find out, does this come from the politicians or the organizers, right? Because ukiangalia, there's politicians wamekaa mara mingi wakataka kukuja wakatuambia wanataka kuongea na Wakenya, and then we've always been fronted. They've been fronted to us, and then they run away because when they realize uko outer guide conversation vile itakuwa, they run away and they will go and to more friendlier platforms where they can feel like they can control the narrative of how they are. So does this come from the politicians or does this come from the handlers? Because I will tell you one thing, mimi mtu hainiona kwa hizo town hall, kwa sababu to me I usually see them as a waste of time. There's no benefit I'm going to get from those town halls. Nikitaka kuona RIGGY-G ndaingia YouTube ama nitakuwa na Matiang'i ndaingia YouTube.
There's points kutoka hapo.
Kwa sababu at the end of the day, they are so guided, they are so controlled that there is no meaningful conversation you have. You're better off running into Matiang'i at Swahili Village and have a conversation with him there than kwa hiyo town hall.
Can I say something? And that is one of the things we as the 625 movement want to change. You know, politicians can just be coming here and then they just come for the sake of coming, and then all we do is just give them money to propel their agenda. There has to be, lazima kukuwe na produce, lazima kuwe na kitu inaproduciwa kwa hizi town halls. Lazima we have to, and that's what we are doing. We are challenging these systems that have been there for a while. And if we don't keep doing this, we will go back to the same ways.
All right. Okay. Tusikize kwenye simu. Mimi nitakuja kutoa take yangu pia.
Yeah, let's hear what Baba Mwaura has to say.
So, thank you for that observation. First of all, I would like to mention that the idea of public participation before the actual event is a good idea. And I'll say that I was the chairman of that event and the person that arranged that event. But let me say this. When Dr. Matiang'i came to that hall, it's because he was tired of waiting at the Sheraton. He was right across at the Sheraton. In fact, he got at the Sheraton before many of you who were in the hall got there. The problem is, I was not hands-off in that particular participation. And my friend here who was streaming for us can tell you the problems we had. When we walked into that hall, we didn't even have sound. If he wasn't there, we would not have had sound. And I had a conversation with, and he's right there on your panel. He can say what I'm saying. When it came to a point of we're trying to work with the hotel to give us sound, it became a nightmare. We were even charged some money. If he wasn't there, that event would have been a flop.
Wow.
At one point, Matiang'i told me on the phone, I don't care what's going on, I'm coming now. And he came, and I'm glad he came at the time that he came. So what I would say is that that particular event would have been done in the halls that I have control normally. You know, it's just that the time they gave us when we invited him, the time they gave us was too short for us to get a hall. It was not our desire to have it at the Hyatt, because it was very, very expensive for us, by the way. The parking was also expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people couldn't even manage to come because of that reason. It's because I tried my best, and I did not want that event to be done outside Baltimore. If you're going to call it a Baltimore event, let it be in Baltimore. That became a location of last resort. And again, somebody asked, is it the problem of the actual candidate or the organizers? It is the organizers. If there's anything you saw there that didn't go right, it has nothing to do with Dr. Matiang'I, right? We invited him. We said, this is the hall, come at this particular time, and there will be a speech. You'll give a speech, and there will be questions. That's all they know when they're coming in. I don't know about Gachagua, but I know about Matiang'I event because I'm the one who had organized it. Even to get a date that Matiang'I came there, the date that he came, it was supposed to be the 27th, then there was a shift, there was a change, and so on and so forth. These were the first events that Matiang'I is having ever. And know that Dr. Matiang'I has been with the World Bank here for like 2 years. So I was scrambling to make sure that we have an event with him here before he goes back to the country to set up his campaign. Matiang'I hasn't been on the campaign trail. At the time at which Kalonzo, Wambunyoro, all those guys have been. As a matter of fact, I can say for sure, the party for him to leave the World Bank was done last Friday.
Yeah.
You know, so at least you'll be seeing more of him. And that participation part, I am going to be calling. That maybe you can help me do that participation, public participation, before he comes again.
Now, Baba Maura, yeah, go ahead.
Question, go ahead.
No, you can finish and then I'll give you my
did
point.
Baba Maura say Val can help him? Oh,
Participation.
he said, yeah.
Public participation, yeah.
In public participation, I'm going to reach to you guys that have brought it up right now. The window of time I had of organizing that particular event, even if I wanted that public participation, it was very difficult. You remember that even the flyer, for us to put the flyer out, was pretty late. We didn't have as much time as the Wamunyoros had to organize the event because we were dealing with some logistical issues that I'm not going to go into right now.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing is, when it comes to giving questions, I do agree. I do agree perfectly that, and I remember I talked to Val, I said, the last time we had a meeting, a town hall meeting, it was just the same like this one of Dr. Matiang'I, was when Martha Karua was there. That was last month. And that particular one, I swung mics around. And this lady picks the mic and refuses with it. Val, you were there. And it became a struggle for me to get my mic back. You know?
Yep.
So I was trying to balance how I can make a situation not get out of hand. Maybe I didn't do it well. You cannot blame others. Blame Baba Maura.
No.
And advise me. Don't just attack me. No. Advise me. Baba Maura, I think you and your secretariat, the next meeting, we should do it this way. And I will implement.
For a fee, we will give you.
Now, Baba Maura, before you go involved.
Before I lose my train of thought.
First of all, I want to say that the best thing that has happened to the Matiang'I campaign so far, as you know, I'm not in that team yet. I'm still listening to him.
Yeah.
But the best thing that has happened to that campaign is having you as heading the DMV secretariat. Let me just start from there. And I'm not just saying this because I know you. It's because I've seen your organization and I've seen your command, even when you are speaking in front of people. So that's the number one best thing that everyone who's in this organization or Matiang'I campaign needs to understand. And they need to take full advantage of that. Now, for this event to be a success in future, consider this. Have, like I said, have true public participation. Have it well in advance. Have some public participation. Even if it's 70, 100 questions that are received, there's always a way of summarizing them to address everything that was asked before. Have a moderator. It's okay to have an MC, but have a moderated panel whereby the candidate is seated up front there facing the people and a moderator who's controlling the conversation. So that's very important. And then have it in a 90-10 model where 90% it's engagement and then 10% is now maybe the candidate speaking to people. The other thing that I would also like to see is to have, let me not use the word proper, have some kind of media coverage for the event. By media coverage, I mean having it covered in such a way, anyone who was not able to attend the event can actually go. So Bandio Hapa, does a very good job in live streaming these events. For those who don't know, like what Baba Mwaura was referring before, Bandio was the one who was live streaming the event, and Bandio is also skilled in sound and so many other things, so he was able to solve other problems that were there. So have proper media coverage whereby there's a central repository that someone can go. This is where I can go to find out what Matiang'I said in Baltimore, what Matiang'I said in Minneapolis. Have a media person who will collect this content. Have content creators who will put together all these different issues that are targeted, such that whenever an issue comes up, someone can always say, oh, he responded to it in this forum or that forum. Because right now, your meeting at Baltimore imeisha, like once that live stream it disappears in the algorithms, no one knows where to go get tangible information of what was said there. And then, important to have a public follow-up point of contact. Meaning, after Matiang'I goes, this is what we requested. How can we follow up that this will be followed? There was a lot of talk about diaspora voting, about increasing the number of polling stations. So how do we follow up on those statements that were made or promises that were made that is going to talk to X, Y, Z to IEBC? Have a follow-up mechanism. And then for these events, have thematic areas. Like it cannot be an all the above, because Kenya is dealing with so many things. We need certain specific thematic areas. Like Apa, we are dealing with healthcare. Uku, we are dealing with land issues. And this other town hall will deal with this. And you can help come up with these topics through public participation. And then very important, before I let Val speak, Baba Mwaura, pay attention to this. Involve non-traditional groups in the planning. By non-traditional, and Baba Mwaura yourself, you're very good at seeking non-traditional groups. By non-traditional groups, for those who don't know, I mean you're going beyond the churches. You're going beyond the chamas. You're going beyond the diaspora organizations, in quote. You're seeking out people who are in entertainment. You're seeking out Kenyans who are born here. You're seeking out, like younger people, maybe who've never even traveled to Kenya, but they have Kenyan parents. So seek out those non-traditional sources and then make sure you're in touch with all of them before the event, and you will have no problem filling your event. And I promise you, Baba Mwaura, if you do this in the next town hall, you might win a few converts or two. I can't promise anything about myself. Me, I'm still in the market. But but I can't promise you. But Baba Mwaura, those are the things I hope. I will write them down to you and send them to you. This will take a lot more organization, a lot more effort. You may have to, dig deeper into the pockets to whoever is funding these events. But I think that will leave an impact, a meaningful impact, when people attend such an event and they feel like there was actually something that we can follow up. 5 years later, people are going to remember it. Baba Mwaura, before we go to Val.
Thank you so much. I've taken notes. By the way, please send that to me as well, just in case I've missed something.
Yes, I will send those to you.
This is what I appreciate. It's just not a question of beating me down, but it's helping me get better, do better, and that's exactly what I'll do. And just my last comment is that I'd like to thank Bandio very much. If it wasn't for him, we were in big, big trouble. So thank you, Bandio.
Okay. So Bandio ulipokea Bahasha Brown.
Na
ama tusizungumzie
tupate percentage
yetu.
Hata
pia
Vala na comment.
Nilikuwa tunataka kuambia Baba Mwaura, we can't help him organize the participations. We are non-partisan, but we can attend those environments to participate, even though. And also I wanted to clarify, just because Gen Zs are saying Maraga and Omutata, that does not reflect the ideas of the people in the 625 movement. So we are non-partisan. Everyone can support whoever they want to support.
But would you want to participate before the event, like to bring in questions or to have a slot to speak? Because that happens in the public.
That's what I mean. We will be in that space, yes.
Okay.
But not to organize that.
Not
but
not
if
in
you
the
if you have
public
if you have
participation.
not to
if
organize
it's happening
it
before.
like if it's submitting questions, we will,
Yeah.
right? But coming up with a structure of organizing how that whole process will be, we won't do that.
Okay.
Sawa.
Okay.
Yes,
Sawa.
because then it it will look like we are
yeah, mnaunga mkono
tunaunga, but we are non-partisan.
So is the plan to remain non-partisan until 2027? At
Kama
some
picha
point
yako na Rigathi.
you'll endorse a
Unajua,
candidate.
this whole thing with the whole politics thing, this is not something I was personally anticipating, right? I didn't think we will be here today, right? The goal is, one of the things I've mentioned we are working on is going to Congress. We've drafted some letters to take to Congress to see how we can help our country through the Leahy Act being breached by Ruto's government. Civil education is another thing that we're doing. So in terms of politics, I mean, if anyone from the 625 movement decides to run, they can step out of it. But then also, I don't speak for everyone. Who knows? Maybe vitu zita change. But as of now, we remain non-partisan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amosh, anything?
Can I add something real quick?
Yes.
Yes, Baba Maura.
May I add something real quick?
Yes.
So the other thing I would like to help in, and this was mentioned earlier, you talked about measuring in Christianity as if Christianity or that is the only religion in Kenya.
Yes.
But I would like to reach out to you or somebody who knows someone who can a clergy in the Muslim field that can actually attend and come and do a prayer for us. It's not that I did not consider it. It's just I didn't know where to go or how to get one.
Fair enough.
So
That's a
something
fair
I would
enough
like
point. Yes.
To be able to reach out to you.
Yes.
To be able to help.
That is a fair enough point. And I think the prayers are okay. The problem with
just having a service.
The problem with Gachagua's event is that there was praise and worship.
It was like a service.
There were actually multiple. There was, of course, Dorcas is a pastor. There was preaching, like in the event, which I think
I missed that.
Which is problematic. I think by that time ulikuwa hujafika ama labda sijui ndo ulikuwa ushaondoka no ulikuwa hujafika.
No, I was there wakiimba.
Yeah, na praise and worship songs.
Ndio maana niliboeka hivyo.
Yeah, so
yeah.
That's none of your business.
Yeah, they were
you were not there, you missed the tongue.
Talking, yeah. Yeah. So actually the only reason I also went there is because I was so confused. I was like, is this a Kikuyu event or is this a public event? Na nikapata jibu venye walimix.
I get it, guys. I'm so thankful.
So, mimi my text sasa. Kwanza nafikiri ali umetouch planning. Planning was an issue. And I think I felt like they were trying to reach out to their own people. Ukiangalia program, it's not to expand to those who don't know the candidate.
What do you mean by their own people?
Well, it's just like ni kama vile program ziko kata kwa watu ambao wanawashabikia tayari.
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just wale tayari ni wafuasi.
Yes.
Which I think it's a miss. Unajua? And that's why nilipona ni town hall, my expectations was, and the only reason Baba Maura I carried those 8 microphones is because I thought it was going to be wamekaa alafu wataanza kuongea. Right?
Yes.
Now, sasa hivi, I don't think there's anything, if I was running, I would say, nimwache candidate afanye interviews, kula atajielezea, akija kwenye town hall, atafanya maswali. Maswali yakiisha, ataelezea ambacho anafikiri was not asked. Instead of ye aanze kuongea, alafu yaje maswali.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, you sit, you answer all questions, and then after that, you're like, okay, katika ile closing remarks, you're like, I know you didn't touch about this, but there's this and this. This is the only way, one, you're going to engage, but two, utajua the real issues ambazo zina face wala watu ambao attend town hall. Unaona? So I think to me, hiyo ingekuwa sehemu ya kwanza. Yes, kulikuwa kuna challenges kadhaa. I'm glad umetouch kuhusiana na media. To me, it's just painful kuona kwamba ile kazi, it's everywhere else except ndani ya team. Uelewe? It's like ukiingia Mtembei wamekata ukiingia Kenya News, Digital News, wamezichop zile, and they're there. and you think kwamba the campaign yenyewe wangekuwa wana place ambayo it's like a mall ambayo utakwenda mtu kienda anything itakuwa pale. Not only this, hata akija kwa One Mic Show mna agree kwamba tutakwenda pale, but can we have rights of couple of the clips so that you can headline them. Hapa amezungumzia, I mean alikwenda Citizen akazungumza for like 2 hours or an hour or so, lakini ile ukichop, those could be like 10 talking points ambayo mtu anaweza kaenda akakuta kwamba okay, about this here, about economy hapa, about security hapa, about debts hapa, that's the best way ya kufanya. But the other thing ambayo nafikiri you'll miss ni watu ambao now unfortunately baadhi ya watu hata mtu wa nani ambaye sikumfahamu, ilo nilikuwa na namba yake, I even text the person kwa Gachagua, I say why don't you ask spotlight kwa huyo mtu.
Yeah, alikuwa giza pale mbele.
Nikamtext na simjui, but I was like, if you want to deliver the message, unajua it doesn't matter. Ni kama unakwenda kufanya breakdance kwenye funeral home unajua kwamba ile mazingira yenyewe yatafanya perception ya message. So no matter what, utakuwa na message nzuri. If you're too dark or you look bored or you look sick, watu hawatafanya nini, hawatasikiliza. But nafikiri kuna haja ya kuconsult watu. And the last thing, nazungumza kama mtu wa media, we are the last people kwenye priorities za matukio.
Yes.
Watu wataanza na ukumbi, watakwenda DJ, watakwenda chakula, kitakachobaki ndio tutasema sasa nyinyi watu wa media, lakini hatuna nini? Hatuna hela.
Hakuna budget.
But ukumbi, hakuna atakayekumbuka ukumbi ulikuwaje. Chakula atakayekumbuka ni yule ambaye alikuwepo pale akala. Music probably 2 days after kutoka kuna wimbo mpya ametoa, ule hautakuwa wimbo. The only thing ambayo inatakiwa baki genuine, actually even the main purpose ya kuwa pale ni message. So I would rather invest kwa mtu atakaye capture, edit na kusambaza message
and distribute, yes.
Because that's the main point. And sometimes inabidi uangalie, can we fill 200 people? If you can't, na watu wanasahau kwamba hata Trump alipoacha kufanya nani akaenda kwenye podcasts, the reason was alijua politically ukienda kufanya mkutano watu wataangalia idadi ya watu.
Yes.
Alipoona Kamala Harris ameanza kuwa na idadi ya watu akasema hii itaondoa moral. Akaondoka akaenda zake kwa Joe Rogan. Why? Because ukiwa kwa Joe Rogan watu hawaangalii how many people are there.
Yeah.
Ila wataangalia how many people wame-restream.
How many views.
Na ukiwa na good content, hata ukikana ukafanya interview one mic, kama kuna good content, a week later itakuwa, unajua siku tulikuwa tuna stream, by the time tumemaliza ku stream was few thousands. Leo ikienda it's almost double. The same message, the same way delivered pale. Kwa hiyo I think they need to, wakati mwingine wanaoandaa hizi nani, waache kuweka expenses kwenye vitu ambavyo once as a drive message.
Yes.
Unajua it could easily wangeza kuwa na town hall ambayo haina audience na watu wote wakaja via Zoom.
Absolutely.
Au wangefanya hybrid. Literally pale wangesema
hybrid, that's a remote participation.
Wangeleta TV pale, mimi ningeweza kufanya remote, wangekuwa na mtu ana call kwenye Zoom kama hapa. Anauliza swali, anaonekana, anajibiwa, anasikika. Lakini inahitaji nini? Team ambayo ina understand kwanza how to run things. Hiyo ni jambo la kwanza, lakini jambo la pili ni how to reach wale watu wengine. Yule mmoja aliyeko Iowa au yule aliyeko Hawaii, unajua, yule ambaye anaweza, those people ambao wengine wako Japan ambao ni muda sio mzuri. Kwa ukifanya kila kitu kimekwenda live kikiisha, then watakipata wapi? So I think kuna vitu vichache watu wote wanatakiwa kufanya, na hopefully next time watakaporudi it'll be better.
Okay, number to call 202-683. Hey, hata hiyo time imeenda. Asante sana Baba Mwaura. I will get you the list.
Kulikuwa kuna swali ya Washeke, nimesema anauliza swali.
No, Washeke, yeah, actually was wacha niulize swali. Baba Mwaura, before you go, Washeke had a question. She was asking, why was the Huduma number going to be handled by MasterCard? So this is to you, Baba Mwaura. That's a question that came from Washeke in Moroni, Comoros Islands, visiwa vya Ngazija. Baba Mwaura.
All right, that's a good question. But I'll be very honest to tell you, I would have to find out. I'm meeting the Matiang'I team tomorrow. That's one question I'll ask. If I have an opportunity to share it with you so that you can share it with that lady, that would be great.
Okay. And is Matiang'I going straight to Kenya from Minneapolis, or is he going to come back here first?
You know, his home is here.
Yes.
He lives in Silver Spring. So I expect that he's going to come back here. I don't know if he's going to be able to have an event, though.
Okay, but we're still open to interview him, so just let us know.
At a Silver Spring tutaenda.
Yes, hata kama ni Silver Spring tutamfuata.
He may need somebody to move boxes.
I'll communicate.
Yeah.
He may need somebody to move boxes while
Muturi.
we're moving the boxes. While Muturi is moving the boxes, we can interview him.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure that he gets the message.
Sawa. Thank you.
Okay, sawa.
Asanteni sana.
Okay, asante sana Baba Maura. You know, like we had so much to cover. I think we need a part 2 of this conversation because we had so many other things to cover. Because of time, I don't think we'll be able to cover everything. Ama bandio unaonaje?
Waswahili walisema?
Wow.
Wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga. We are about to wrap this puppy up.
Before you do that, kuna comments zote?
Follow the 625 movement on Instagram.
Okay,
yes,
sawa. Utatupatia all those handles in your parting shot. There were so many comments up on especially YouTube. Brian Swell alisema, can we also look for those loan details and make it public? And I think Jimmy Wanjigi has already done that. And 𝑘𝒆𝒏𝒕, they've already made the details of those loans that never made it to the consolidated fund. Those funds are public. I will share them, you know, like once I Google them up and find them. And then Pablo Nasema, let Val answer the question. Oh yeah, I think we've already addressed this. What diaspora issues addressed. And then Njeri Nasema, we want embassies globally to work for Kenyans, especially in the Middle East. Absolutely. Yeah, that's another big thing. That's another big issue. And then Njeri Nasema, to protect us, to serve us, to make our transitions into a new country smoother. Then we have Wairimo Nasema, hello friends.
Hello.
And then hapa Chief Louis anasema, was Lenana school necessary?
You know he's a guy of Nairobi. Unajua hizi mutawacha hizo stories. Mpeleke hizo vitu zenyu huko.
Okay. Alafu hapa anasema Wairimo anasema Dr. Matiang'i did not break any laws with Miguna's case. The 2010 constitution did not have dual citizenship. All of us had obtained foreign citizenship earlier, had to apply for reinstatement. So this is what they said, but this is not the accurate position.
No, but there was also a court.
There was a court order
and a court order that was ignored by the government.
That was ignored by the government.
Kept moving.
Yes.
So Wairimo,
because Wairimo, on these things that we conflict about, like you and I disagree. That's what the courts are there for. The courts will pronounce. So this was a case that was in progress, and the court issued an order for Miguna to be released.
He was not supposed to be deported.
He was not supposed to be
given his.
Yes, he was supposed to be given his
papers back.
Yes, and this is what Gen Zs are fighting for. Follow the laws.
Yep.
Follow the laws. You can't just start coming up with your own. You can't decide. I don't like this court order. You can't start making a choice of I like this court order and I don't like this other one. So I think that's part of the problem.
And
that was happening at that time.
The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. And then
Is the judiciary compromised?
No, everything is compromised, but because the executive is also compromised, parliament is also compromised. But now because
parliament is compromised,
but you cannot decide, but you cannot usurp the powers and decide, I'm gonna agree with this court order, and then I'm gonna disagree with this one.
No, I mean agreement. I was just saying, like now, for example, with the current, like now, for example, even present, some of the court orders, you remember. The DC, the police guy who had been summoned like 6 times before he appeared, before he released whoever.
Yeah,
like there's been so much, like, and then the like now they're ruling against the 𝒂𝒊𝒒, right? Inheritance.
Yes.
So like then you're looking at certain things that the High Court the Supreme Court is actually overruling certain matters that the High Court or Korea, they have it right. Supreme Court is the one that is messing it up. Again, it's a cluster, Madhogodania. Back to you.
Aya, sawa sawa. Na hapa Wairimo anasema I meant the older constitution did not have dual citizenship. Dual came with 2010 Katiba. Sorry for the confusion. And then Gypsy Corner anasema Kenyan politics is always full of drama. Nollywood. And then Gypsy Corner anasema the same monkeys in different forests.
Okay.
You're still in the market. I think Gypsy Corner must have been referring to me. Mimi niko sokoni bado. You know, I'm still being wood. Bado niko naangalia huku naangalia kule.
Unasubiri baba.
Yes.
Aseme.
Yeah, alafu Gypsy Corner answer, how did you come with 625? I think that's something that you answered.
Violence.
And then Gypsy Corner, Kenya is an interfaith country. Gachagua breathes, eats, sleeps his tribe all the time. When will he start addressing the public? And then hapa Drax anasema great discussion, guys. And yeah, I think those are all Gypsy Corner anasema Matiang'i will be a great Zoom president. I don't know what exactly Gypsy Corner means by a Zoom president. Anasema Matiang'i will be a great Zoom president. Yeah. And then hapa Louis anasema Atlanta event for Matiang'i was a perfect town hall. The engagement was well done and engaging. He actually even sat with us and had a meal with us, and many questions were asked. He spoke less than answer questions. My guess, it was the organizers. That's amazing. I've not seen the Atlanta one. Louis, if you have the link, please share it with me.
Yes,
yeah,
please
share it with me, because if there's events that were organized well, they can be used as a template on how to organize the rest. Mike, wahenga tena.
Walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia. We are about to wrap this puppy up. Mika,
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, mabibi na mabwana, my fans, marafiki, everybody.
Na mahaters uswasahau, na mahaters.
Wanasafa hao. Wanasafari.
Demasafa.
Wanasafa, wasikia Biana alisema, all my enemies are safari.
that one.
Hey, wanaumia deadly. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody for joining in, for taking your time out of your Fridays and joining us. And we appreciate this a lot. Thank you, Val, for coming and gracing us. Najua umetrend, kuna wala wamekufurahia, kuna wala hawajakufurahia, but hiyo ni life. Hawezi furahisha kila mtu, hawezi kasirisha kila mtu, wote endelea tu kukua wewe. And we appreciate you for that. And we encourage you continue fighting for what you believe in. Man has to have a purpose, and I think you found yours, so keep pushing it. We're here to support you. And for everybody else, hey,
it's August.
Umekuwa kungori, shauri yenu. Mwana leo mseme futwa job jo amesema ukweli. Anyway, things are getting rough. Buckle up. Find out.
Mika amesema huruma is not an estate.
Hey. So,
Gaifafa.
Keep checking on each other. Encourage each other. Mwaka ingine moja tu, November pige kura vizuri. Mtarudi kuchuna poto na papi. Good night.
Okay, asante sana Mika. Wacha tuende kwa Omosh first and then tutaenda kwa Val.
Asanteni my audience wetu, my peoples, and thanks to all those who called in. Baba Maura, he stayed all through and took questions, answers, feedback. Very surprising. Most times, organizers of those events, they don't even want to know.
No.
In fact, they're not even available after the events. They will not even admit that they made a mistake. So, more kudos, more honors to him for that. And if a lot of the people who organize these events or who are close to these politicians and helping their secretariats, they need to learn from this guy, because this is how you get things done you basically lessons learned, you pick them up and you flow and you move with them. And that's how we get to move forward. Also want to give a special shout out to Val here in the studio. I know that you know, it's interesting. You've made mention and lightly of the comments, the name calling, and the bullying, the cyberbullying that you have gone through and continue to go through just for standing up and speaking the truth. It's so sad that tumefika hapo, and just because you have a different opinion from somebody politically, then they'll come after you and come with name calling and with all sorts of different things. It really makes no sense, because at the end of the day, even that person who's coming with all of that, they're not going to be president. So what's the point exactly? It's just a difference of opinion, and it doesn't mean that they should be coming and jumping on your coming within your space and your page and jumping on your neck, for lack of a better word. It's time we started calling out these people for real. You know, it's literally like, and then sometimes you also say that, you know, if you give them that platform, then you're giving them the power over you. So, but I would venture to say, don't stop. Don't listen to all of the naysayers. Continue holding fast, because you guys, Gen Z, are the true salvation for Kenya. Because wengine wetu, clearly we didn't do everything we were supposed to do. And at least I think some of us are adapting and learning from all of this.
Millennials sisi ni bure.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Mikasi, kabisa. Because I mean, we've been doing this. We correct. We've been doing this thing since Ali, when were we at Washington Monument?
That was Westgate. Westgate was 2013. That was 2013. Westgate.
Imagine.
Yeah. Westgate ilikuwa 2013.
You know, and we've been pushing the voting and pushing and fighting and going to, you know, having guys who are going to court, and then it comes to that point when people are supposed to register to vote. We have 700 people to register, and 300 actually voted, or something like that. What were the? It was
299 plus Ali.
It was 299 plus Ali.
Man, it was ugly. I remember those times during campaign time. Facebook was ugly.
It's just sad. It's sad. It's so sad.
We are vile.
It was very ugly, yeah.
IBC ilikuja hapa mara ngapi wakitupea juice na biskuti?
They came so many times. From back when Isaac Hassan was the chair. That was promising us before 2013, promising us that we're going to vote in the 2013 election. We never voted until 2022.
It is so sad. And when given the opportunity, folks still want to be given notifications. They want more polling centers. They want somebody to bring it to their kitchen so they can log on.
They want to vote in their bedroom.
It's just sad. I'm just saying, diaspora, you guys need to style up. I know not everybody is close to DC, but if that's what it takes for us to do this, it's still cheaper than going to Kenya to register, then come back, then go back to Kenya to vote. It's cheaper for you to move within the US or from Mexico or whatever. At some point in time, we need to take ownership of this, because this is our country and we are leaving it for our kids. What are we leaving?
Yeah, and Omosh, asante sana. How I know that things are still not looking good, there's a message that I shared with Val, you know, because Val received a lot of hate, you know, like especially from people within her community. There was a message I shared with her. Back I was like, wow, someone could write something like this, and of course we're not,
Archbishop.
Yeah, we're not gonna reveal the name.
How many times have you been called Gaidi?
Wewe mwenyewe? Ndo nasema, let's be easy. Let's not reveal the name, but the message that was sent, this was in a very public.
But isn't that how you're gonna stop it?
This is a very public WhatsApp group.
Sema ikutoke.
Amesema, huyu hapa amesema, one more thing. The internet, because I think the issue was with Val saying that people should stop using Kikuyu in these events, and people were trying to defend Gachagua. So one of the defenses came against Val was one more thing. The internet messages say that she is not even a Kikuyu, but a Luo. That is also an area we can explore, as villagers from Karandi have no such features. So first of all, maybe Val, Tell us, where is Karandi? Or like, I was shocked to see this message, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna share this with Val, because this is a grown person who's saying this.
Speaking cyberbully.
So
Karandi ni wapi kwanza?
My dad is from Nyeri,
Okay.
Mathera. Actually, acha ni pull up.
Actually,
for safety reasons, I don't know even if I should pull up exactly.
Don't pull up exactly.
Anyway, my dad is from Mathera, Nyeri. Karandi, there is just an area.
Okay, it's an area in Mathera.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after Karatina, it's like maybe the last time I was there, maybe 30 minutes, 20 to Karatina, from Karatina. Yes.
And people there do not have features like yours, according to
I think, unajua tu wamezoea wa Kikuyu, I guess wanaka a certain way. I don't know if there is that, you know.
Okay.
So maybe
No, I agree. But this comment shocked me.
Anybody who has a problem with that, baka anakuja kusema the internet. Like, if you believe somebody who comes kukwambia forwarded as received as forwarded, or
forwarded as received,
or nilisikia, huyo ni muongo. Na pia kwa unamsikiza pia ni muongo, na hizo tabia za kuform story, kuwekelea watu vitu. So basically, unajua nini, wewe ni mtu mkubwa, ni mbaba mkubwa, mtoto mdogo amekwambia ukweli, imekuuma sana mpaka umeenda kuongeza uongo, jiangalie ndani, shame on you.
Haya, tumalizie Val.
Yeah. Millennials, mnasema nyinyi ndio mlileta hii noma. Yes, no, it doesn't matter now. There is time to join the cause. The responsibility of the nation cannot just be left for young people. All of us have to join this cause. If at all we need a future for our children, our children's children, and all the generations to come. And I know kuna watu wamekasirika wananitukana, but I'm not upset. I was feeling some type of way, but now I'm not, because I think it's actually a good thing, because like I said, it exposes the fundamental issues that we have as a society, which is political tribalism. And we cannot, in my opinion, we cannot win against this rogue system if we are still divided on a tribal basis. Number 3, the diaspora. It's time we really have to stop being sympathizers and being activists. Being an activist can come in many ways. Unapigia madhe, unafanya civil education na yeye akiwa tu home, unameducate. Una-attend hizi town hall meetings. Kama hiyo town hall meeting siyo yako, if there is like for example, the 625 movement, right? We have the event speaking about colonization and learning. Come to those spaces. This is how we start changing the narrative, you know? Number 4, stop sending these politicians money. Right now, how many Gen Zs haven't been bailed out? They're still in jail, in prison. We can help by sending money to get them out of prison. Support human rights organizations like Amnesty. Hii kazi ya kusema the diaspora being complacent in the time of when we need Kenya to shape up, saying that, oh, politics ya Kenya sitaki. Sisi ndio summer bunnies, winter bunnies. Sisi ndio tuna invests. You know, we are sending money back home for education, for health and everything. So American politics is our business. If it wasn't our business and if it didn't matter, politicians wouldn't be coming here. So we are a contributor of how we shape politics in Kenya, here in the diaspora, even if we don't vote. We still shape it some way or somehow. Anyway, thank you for the platform. Follow the 625 movement on Instagram. It's at 6.25 movement. Viva.
Okay, asante sana Val. Thank you so much for coming through. Yes, it was an amazing time here with you. Now on Sunday, for those who are in the DMV area, that's on Sunday, August 3rd from 7 to 9 p.m. There will be an event at it's titled The Politics of Kenya, Colonial Kenya. And this is gonna feature Moffat Ngugi, Milton Nyakundi, and Ali Badawi, aka 𝒂𝒃𝒐𝒑𝒑𝒊𝒎𝑐𝒑 Masai. We're going to be talking about the politics of Kenya, colonial Kenya. It's going to be at Sankofa Video and Books Cafe at 2714 Georgia Avenue, Washington, D.C., 20001. That's 2714 Georgia Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. So if you have some time, Sunday evening, come there. No,
it's not if you have some time. Make some time.
Yes,
Sunday
make some
evening.
time. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Please come over. This is gonna be a series that we're gonna do it in a number of weeks.
Yeah.
We will give future dates. We're gonna come all the way to modern Kenya. We are starting with pre-colonial Kenya. And then going through colonial Kenya, and we're gonna go to post-independence and modern Kenya.
So and the series is gonna be in 2. So how we are gonna divide it is between 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3
and
weeks.
we're gonna have different panelists. Actually, if there is for the independence period and the Kenya now, if anyone wants to be a panelist, let me know, or let anyone at the 625 movement know. We encourage everybody, including women as well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Vote for freedom. So anaweza kuwa hapo pia.
Yes. So inbox us or inbox the 625 movement for more details, and we'll be more than happy to see you. Na kwa hayo machache.
Who's us? Inbox us. Are you?
Inbox the OneMic Show.
Okay.
Like on Instagram, on Facebook, on any of our platforms. Yeah. Yeah. So na kwa wale ambao bado wanataka kunipigia simu, nambari yangu bado ni ile 1-800.
Kama anataka kutusaidia.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sawa.
Who is us?
Sawa. Kwa wale ambao wanataka kunipigia simu, nambari yangu bado ni ile 1-800 mteule. Operator kishika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu. Na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai. Because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui, na sibagui. Kwaherini.
Uno Mike.
Just to provide context, Thomas Mwaura ran for Senate, District 8 Baltimore. So I think he's very well aware of political machinations and organizations. Aiden, Daddy loves you. Jerry, Daddy loves you. Nemo, Daddy loves you. Until next time, be blessed.
Tisana, Val, thank you for coming. Actually, for all the youths out there, go listen to I'm Reggae-holic. So go listen to Morgan Heritage. The song is called Youth Today. And then there's a verse there. They say, now the youth feels the pain that for the choices made yesterday. There's no more time it's the time to change, to work towards the change. So go listen to that. Youth Today. Nimeandika sana kuhusiana na hii kwenye blog post zangu, and I think mimi ni wale ambao siamini kwamba youth ni taifa la kesho. Na mimi ni taifa la leo. Alafu tunaendelea kusonga mbele. Zaidi ya hapo, Uno, thank you very much for trusting me with this chair. Wale wote ambao mmeingia, Baba Mwaura, asante sana kwa kuwa kwenye panel, and I wish wale wote maybe one day tunaweza tukafanya show na organizers wa hizi nani hizi town hall meetings.
Hizi town halls, yes.
Yeah, kwa sababu nafikiri nimepata insights nyingi kutoka kwa Baba Mwaura kuliko nilivyokuwa nikifahamu what went wrong na mambo mengine. So that was cool. For the crew, thank you very much. Mimi naitwa Mubelo wa Twina Mukama sama na kulinda Peter Bandio. Mwana mapalina baba palina. Kwenye reggae wananiita Ras Twin. Rasi ya Marasta ni Real African Soldier, na Twin si ya mapacha. Japokuwa wale wanafuatao ni mapacha. Omosh! Twende kazi boss.
Watching me go overseas, you will never know no peace. Let me Prepare a table for me right before my enemies, so they can see I'm living in my prophecy. I will never know no shame. Unapanga njama kinimbea kwa waganga, Renya kono nyama kubakeru ni mako ya nanga. Baba basairanga ngwe, baba basairanga, umami wa nyanza ibe.